Hey, what's going on? And another late Monday night going into Tuesday. This is Kev. This is Black Men Being Brutally Honest. And the reason why black men have to be brutally honest because, we've had quite the history lessons when it comes to black men and black men leadership and, all kinds of good old protections and provisions that black men provide that many people accuse us of not providing at all. But I mean, if one would reflect on their life choices, um, it'll become a lot clearer to them that there has to be some amount of personal accountability being taken. And that's what I'm here to talk about tonight, personal accountability, the way people chose to carry themselves during these times and how we want to sit here and blame everybody else for our shortcomings when in fact it's all our faults. It's never it really isn't the individual themselves, it's those who choose to follow them. Shoot. I mean, I do understand like there are many zealots that can amass followings, but hey, if it's just what the doctor ordered for some of you, you'll take it hook, line, and sinker. So we're gonna talk about Dr. King tonight. I'm gonna try to be as respectful as possible, but I've I took a dive into a couple things and just to focus on, generally uh what this man was about and what people have accused him of. And this goes back to people believing that black men are a soft target because uh, the so-called greater society deems it necessary. And you know what? I don't know about you guys, but I don't like cowards. I don't. So I'm not saying that everyone that has a dissenting opinion about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is a coward, because like I said, it's not my opinion isn't the only one that matters. It isn't. But we have to understand, like, as a people, and especially with my concern for black men, we have to be careful what we listen to. I mean, if you're gonna say one moment, society is racist, and then listen to the racist about a black man, then how useful are you actually being? I mean, probably a useful idiot, you know. But let me go ahead and get these shout outs out of the way so we can get started. Uh, okay, we got the members first up. Thank you for your continued dedication. These are the people, especially that have shown by being paying a consistent small fee per month that they are willing to ride with me. And I do appreciate that a lot. It keeps me going. It motivates me. And the members are as follows: Greg, Aaron P, Phil Brad, Days, Indigo Flow, The God, Gold P, D Rock Den, American Negro, D Scott, Andre 416 Reform, Black Light Revelations 2, and Mr. Me Too. Thank you guys for riding with me. It really means a lot. Shout out to the moderators that are in the chat that are here to help me keep things straight around here. And thank you for blocking that person last night. I appreciate that. People like that, I don't want around here. I don't want them subbed. I don't want them participating in the live chat. I don't want them to come back here with their little troll accounts. I don't. We try to say things on this channel in good taste, and that's certain. And if you say things that are in poor taste, especially about children, then you can go fuck yourself. Period. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for mealy mouth pieces of shit coming to this channel with that nonsense. And I know how some of our people love to observe a train wreck. But hey, you know what? We're just gonna have to do a little bit better. Putting yourselves in lower positions just because you think it's cool, or saying things that are shocking because you think you're gonna get a buzz for saying it. Like this guy, what's his name? I ain't gonna even say the content creator's name. If Ray Humma show up, he can say, he's free to say this guy's name in the chat. This dude ran a 9-hour stream on how a 9-hour stream now on how MLK Day should be abolished. See, these are the kind of niggas that wear green on St. Patrick's Day, that continue to tell their kids Santa Claus is real. Even though I'm still trying to find a way to tell my child, no, Santa Claus doesn't exist. Because it was be so ironclad that nobody in the family could actually go back and say Kevin's lying. There is a Santa Claus, because see, that'll be a point for me, because later in life she's gonna find out that daddy loves telling her the truth. So abolish MLK Day. I'm sure there was a better use of time besides 9 hours for, against a man who did something for people who were, quite frankly, weren't worth it. He sacrificed himself. Something that a lot of you niggas out here too chicken shit to do on anything you believe. People want to be smug. People want to say things for shock. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting. It doesn't make you look like you're some type of savage, hardcore person. See, that's what I be wondering. When you call somebody savage, are they really savage? Or are they just saying things to get on people's nerves? We got to discern between the two eventually. But see, that's why guys like me are here. Black men being brutally honest. The real brutally honest around this motherfucker. Believe that. Anybody out there, content creator, got a problem with that? But see, I'm supposed to be speaking about a man of God. So let me tone down my cursing just so we can go back to a period where it seemed like black people with a little effort might have actually kept it together. So we got SC Gullah in the building. What's good? We got Hybrid Catastrophic Impact X83rd Power. I don't even think I shouted out the chat. For real, for real. So let me start out. I might say your name again. Okay. We had Ken seeing red. He said, Bro, Kev, I can't wait to hear this one. Been thinking about this. Well, been thinking this all damn day. Okay. Then we got Super Chat. Oh, thank you. You get the sound bit. Yes. Says salute BMBBH. LLTHLS, which stands for Long Live the Habitual Line Stepper. So long live Afro National. Thank you for your support. We got Cool Gamer. Hello, good to see you. Good to see you too, man. Good to see anybody that comes through here, especially on nights before they have to go back to work after a 3-day weekend. Weather probably not going to be here tonight. LOL. You never know. Weather could show up. Weather could be in the clouds. Weather's not here every night, but he's here. So yeah, shout out to Weather, since Hybrid wants to bring him up. He says, salutations to my people. Salutations to you too. And B. Simone called him a horrible husband and dismissed his contributions and legacy solely because of cheating allegations. SMH. I will tell you this. If I were to compare B. Simone to Coretta Scott King, I would probably choose Coretta Scott King 15 times out of 10. Trust me on that. Like I said, idiots always saying disgusting shit for shock value. she spoke on MLK. But see, the thing is though, B. Simone ain't really the only one I've heard say disparaging things about Martin Luther King. See, the reason why a lot of people are mad at Martin Luther King, the guy who sacrificed his life for this, is that white people propped him up as, I mean, he was a peaceful guy. He was like Mr. Turn the Other Cheek, which wasn't a great strategy. It wasn't. I mean, you're leading people to, men, women, children, elders to get beaten upside the head by violent white cops, sicking the dogs on them. And you're telling people to be peaceful. And people blame him for that. They blame him for, I would say, disarming them. He disarmed black people. So, and his another black rights leader, if you want to call him that, Malcolm X, he had a totally like different and opposite approach. A united solid front. Let them know we ain't to be played with like that. But you know what destroyed, well, I ain't gonna say that it destroyed the movements, so to speak, but the monkey wrench. Yeah, they threw a monkey wrench in both of them. But see, the thing is, though, Malcolm X was killed by his own people. Martin Luther King was killed by them. From the, it seems like from the speculation, and I mean, a truth slip from a preacher some years later that some of Martin Luther King's colleagues had something to do with him getting assassinated. Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is the example of the price of black man leadership. He paid the ultimate price, his life. How many of you would have, how many of you would be able to say that before it's all said and done? You died for something you believed in. And this is why, no matter what is said about the man, I believe he deserves a pass. I'm sorry. I think he deserves a pass. I think people just say F MLK just for shock value. Trying to prove that they badass. Trying to prove that, oh, hey, you know what? I probably could be a better black leader than Martin Luther King. No, you couldn't. Some would even accuse MLK of being a plant because, like I said, he kept black people calm. The same kind of black people went running to Bill Clinton and Joe Biden talking about, oh, y'all need to do something about these niggas in these neighborhoods. And then they say, yes, we're going to write a crime bill. Same kind with the one that were marching with Dr. King. Same kind wanted to blame Dr. King for making them peaceful, for making them classier than niggers, than the niggers that the racist whites said that we are. And I get it. White people accepted Martin Luther King because he said, I had a dream. I have a dream. Uh, instead of the color of your skin, content of your character, blah, blah, blah. You know, and a lot of us got mad with that because Martin Luther King got propped up as the guy who was basically the peacemaker that kept black people calm and not thinking about all the atrocities that were committed against us. All of the lynchings, all of the hangings, all of the unfair discriminatory laws, Jim Crow. Remember at this time, you were barely 100 years removed from slavery. Somebody hit me with the argument the other day. Women's rights are very important. They didn't even get the vote to 1920. I said, what the hell are you trying to say? That a black man could walk in a voting booth in 1919 and not have any trouble? Get the fuck out of here with that. Minimizing the black man's plight. And I'm not saying black men went through all of this by itself. It was black people, but you know, some people don't remember that. Some people don't want to put emphasis on that. There's a certain group of people that want to put all of the victimizations of, you know, of the racist America on themselves, black women. Yeah, so let me just kind of dive into why I say you are all unworthy of his sacrifice. You truly are, actually. I mean, for real. I'm just like that episode of the Boondocks. If had Martin Luther King lived, would he have been happy with what he saw? I don't believe so. I don't believe so at all. I think they'd have reduced Martin. I think Martin would have lost his goddamn mind. This is what I died for. Yeah, a lot of people were mad at Aaron Magruder for that Boondocks episode, but see, that's the thing with Aaron Magruder. He was a brutally honest black man. These are some things you got to think about. Martin Luther King Jr., one of the most prolific black man leaders of all time, maybe the most prolific black man leader of all time. This man got a lot of monuments and shit. So let me take this B Simone comment off. I got to make a habit of taking comments off the screen when I go off into tangents. D Scott, what's good, man? Yakuza Like a Dragon series generation official said Martin Luther King said, "Have a dream, want white girls' booties." Oh, here we go with that shit. Yeah, I'm gonna get into much of that and what I found because I really wanted to take a dive and see for myself. Andre 416 reform, what's good? Bad Ombre, what's going on? Thankfully, he changed his mind late in life, but better late than never. Yeah, when he started talking about like money and shit, and started marching for that, they had to get rid of him. They say he was like he like the day that he died, or you know, that particular time he was helping out with a sanitation workers protest. See, up until that point, the most successful protest really of all time is the Montgomery bus boycott. It was really it was really the time that said that, or the example that said that, you know, the only effective protest is to hurt their pockets. Yeah, y'all can sit up there and cry all y'all want. It's the truth. What did your state do? What did your state do to move black people in this country forward? Mm. Yeah, that's why it used to get to me when people used to berate and insult Montgomery, Alabama. Because where was your black ass at when all of those older people who had the courage to face a violent fucking law enforcement? All those older people, you know, you call them old niggas today. Where were your parents? I'll tell you where my parents were. They were attending protest. They went through that Jim Crow South. Parents and my grandparents, they were in the thick of it. So that's why I feel a certain way when I hear these so-called smart niggas berate the civil rights movement and that shit that Yakuza just said about the white women. That's all y'all niggas care about is dick policing. I mean, you know, no offense, Yakuza, but you know, same people who dick police, same people that always bring that shit up. Oh yeah, the white girls. Uh, but I'm here to kind of I'm not here to debunk that. What I'm here to do is tell you that the main culprits were black. Yeah. That the word on the street is Martin Luther King was an infidel. He was a cheat. He did cheat on his wife. But what the fuck does it matter? Kings can have multiple women. So let's go through some slides, shall we? 23 minutes in. We only got 8 in the building. The algorithm doesn't like me that much, but hey, you know what? At least that 8 are people that matter. Shoot. So go ahead and on your way in, go ahead and hit that like button. Don't hit that like button. Help me get out there. Help me get to help get more eyes on this program. Yep. 14 likes, 0 dislikes. So far, so good. So, all right. Hybrid says they will hate on MLK, but are quick to quote Malcolm X about black women being the so-called most disrespected people. The word disrespect should be changed to disrespectful. Well, I always say that Malcolm X was talking about a different group of women. I mean, seriously, if Malcolm X had lived, he'd probably say, I take that shit back. The fuck out of here. Shoot. A group of people that don't even have the dignity to get married first before they have children and then blame the man when everything goes to shit. Is this what Martin Luther King sacrificed his life for? See, I'm a black guy. See, when white people on television bring that up, it's usually because some black person brought up the plight of racism, or as they like to call it, play the race card. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but still, like I said, I rather hear, really, honestly, I'd rather hear a black person talk about race than a white person. I mean, unless you have a sincere contribution to the conversation, there's not much I want to hear him say about it. See, the thing is, they propped up Martin Luther King in that "I have a dream" line because they didn't want you to focus on what pieces of shit their parents, their grandparents, their great grandparents were. Because if they had to acknowledge that racism was real, they would have to acknowledge that their elder people are pieces of shit who probably impregnated their own cousins at one point. Hee haw! I don't have no mercy for these people. I don't have any mercy for racist. I don't. I think racism is a deal breaker. I'm not one of these. I'm not one of these hood guys that let these cool ass white boys uh use the N word. So, you ain't got to worry about that out of me. Bray J. The I Have a Dream speech is accepted and continues to be circulated, but not the I have been to the mountaintop speech. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. They because of that line, not based on the color of your skin, but the content of your character. And then they even take that out of context because Martin Luther King Jr. was talking about black people and black children in particular. So what's good, Bray J? I have to go now, everybody. Okay, cool, gamer. Well, check in for the replay. Hashtag replay gang in the comments if you can. Detroit 313, what's good? Hybrid catastrophic impact 683rd power said just because he was with other women doesn't mean he didn't love his wife. It was just physical. Coretta got everything. Those other women only got the D. I mean, like, look. A lot of women who like complain about that, like B Simone, like I said, their egos are bigger than Coretta Scott King, and it really shouldn't be. So, like I said, let's go through some slides. So, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., born January 15th, 1929, died April 4th, 1968. Yeah. See, the thing is, when I was a kid, I didn't get the watered down version of civil rights. I got much of the whole story. I mean, much of the real story, and some of the things that I learned at a very young age was quite shocking. It really was. It was something that, a lot of young people would probably not be able to digest properly, I would say. But yeah, let's go through some of these. Yeah, Martin Luther King was very famous. I mean, he was notably famous for the nonviolent approach. Zero ends was good. Long live. Yeah, he was known as a nonviolent man. He was a peace loving man. He wanted like the song said that we used to sing about Martin Luther King in elementary school. He wanted peace and love all over this land. He walked for you and me all over this land. Martin Luther King was a great, great man, you know? But see, behind all of that is a truth. Is a truth. It's public perception and it's the truth. Because I'm sure with many of you, you are not the same person at your job that you are in your private life. If you are, you must work from home or something. I mean, even to that extent, depending on what you do, you can't really be the person you are around your family members as you are in your professional setting. So, as far as Martin Luther King publicly, he was doing pretty much what he was supposed to do. He put feet to the ground. Whatever reason people say he was doing it for, whatever. The fact of the matter is, he still ended up losing his life for it. Very famous man. Very, very famous. Ray Hama was good. If MLK wanted to bang other women, that's fine. After he went through on the front lines, he deserved to have multiple women. God damn. See, I was just getting to that. But Coretta was the woman he loved. All those other women were just a quick nut. Too many people have been shaming him today, man. Yeah, Ray. Like I was telling them earlier, man, about that content creator that spent a whole 9 hours trying to make this case to abolish MLK Day. I'm like, same niggas would go around in fucking Easter egg hunts with a bunny suit on Easter Sunday. Same niggas will wear green on St. Patrick's Day. Same people would like get some heart candy for that broad that's fucking all his homeboys on Valentine's Day. Same fucking thing. But you got to abolish Martin Luther King Day? The most people get is a day off work. What the fucking point is abolishing MLK Day? I don't like little old butter biscuit swallowing niggas like that. I don't. Shoot. This man was getting his ass whooped in marches. Now, everybody gets mad at Martin Luther King for being nonviolent, but he was getting hit over his head too. Shoot. Man was getting arrested just for talking about some rights. Yeah, he was using words. You know those things that people in this space are threatened by for some reason? Words. He was using words. Yeah, I don't like dudes like that. Worship white men for what? Yeah. MLK was so powerful, somebody made an ugly ass monument for him. Well, we just wanted to be artistic. No, you're a dumbass. That thing looks like it's about to come alive and eat people. That thing looked like Superman got to shoot it into space in order to get rid of it. Like, I mean, some people might think that's like, oh man, that's what symbolism. Oh, we're so happy to have this, and If y'all think that is a righteous monument, put it in the comment section. But I don't think it is at all. That shit looks terrible. It's his hands. It seems like around a overly sized penis. But I had to do the side by side comparison because that's where they got the idea for this monument from. His embrace of Claire Huxtable times 10, Coretta Scott King. Jake Zero, what's good? The crazy thing is some white people where I work still mad. They get a day off too. Yeah, I want to go to work. You don't have to give me a day off. Yeah, okay. Well, shit. Work these. Go home, dumbass. Yeah, I'm drinking water. Jake Zero, what's going on? That's Red Sigma. Okay. Yeah, what's good? KFC. 'Cause I saw that too, disgraceful. There were black people all over that guy's live stream dumping on Dr. King. He has whites doing it too. Yeah, because those are the ilk of black people that want acceptance from white people. The same people that said, "Oh my God, The Color Purple is such a great film. It touched me in the chest." Same folks. Because they ain't they like I guarantee you, man, as nonviolent and as peaceful a man as Martin Luther King was, that motherfucker's spine was thicker than all those people put together. You gotta have a backbone to be a nonviolent man that puts yourself in violent situations, getting arrested all the goddamn time, fighting for some ingrate ass people. Yeah, Martin Luther King knew he was an N word. I mean, I don't think he liked being referred to that. I don't think many black people like to be referred to as an N word like we do so much in the 2020s in present day. That's the one thing I disagree on Ice Cube about. Oh man, we took the N word and we made it our own. That will never be your word. You can use it as much as you want. I don't care if a black person uses the N word. I don't, but it'll never be our word. I don't care. We do drop the ER and put an A on it. You can say that's the black people spelling all you want. You're just proving that you want to cling on to ignorance. I would never disrespect a man that went to jail for me, just so I could have some rights. This man did not have to be out there. He did. Every time a black man tries to step up on behalf of his people after Dr. Martin Luther King, caught flack from black people. Shit. I mean, and some of the names I'm about to say, even if it was for superficial purposes, still the reaction is the same. Like like I said, what was that? Was that YouTube character? I mean, was that YouTube guy's name who got the Looney Tunes character that did the interview on the breakdown talking about fuck Malcolm X? What's that guy's name? Like seriously. So when people like Edward Anderson says stuff like everybody hates black men, when you see stuff like that, what Edward Anderson's saying, it looks like the truth. Nobody's gonna beat your door down for shitting on black men. Nobody's gonna do that. In fact, hell, if like say I started a YouTube channel tomorrow and it was a shit on black men channel, it will have a massive algorithm, especially if I was good at simping. But want to dump on a dead man. See, that's see, we're lower than amoebas right now. We wanna attack kids. We want to talk about dead black men. So let's go back to the title. Dr. MLK, they are all unworthy of your sacrifice. Prove me wrong. Anybody in that chat want to prove me wrong? Anybody watching in the class want to prove me wrong? Type in the live chat a reason why I shouldn't feel that way. Black people don't deserve activism. Colin Kaepernick, for whatever reason he kneeled down for, well, for whatever reason, I mean, whether it was superficial or false, we didn't deserve that. We didn't deserve that at all. We should start speaking up for ourselves. Show that we want it, not wait for some and I really don't like using this context, but not wait for some pseudo messiah to come through and tell us to do it or do it for us or whatever like that. That's for you people out there still waiting on Jesus. I'm like, well, you know what? Until that day comes, shoot, there's a few things you can do right now. See me, if I had the knowledge and I went back in those times, I'd have told Dr. King, don't even, nah, bro, don't even do it. I mean, like, you could still try to get the Civil Rights Act signed, which is redundant. I call it redundant because it's an insult to believe that we had to sign rights into a bill in order to be treated like we were human beings. But because the people back then were so massively ignorant, we had to make up a law or make up an act to make sure that, all this bullshit will stop happening to black folks because see, Lyndon Johnson was afraid of an uprising. That's why he gravitated toward King because I think around the time that Dr. King had passed, the Black Panther Party was making an upsurge. With that kind of unrest, if that had continued, we'd probably be living in a different country today. If the unrest did what it needed to do. But see, every time we're thrown a bone, we give up. Okay, we'll take that. Without thinking about what the long game is. And Lyndon Baines Johnson, I don't was he the one that said I have black people voting Democrat for 200 years? And Dr. Martin Luther King was pretty much a catalyst in that because people listen to Dr. King. But I mean, according to Tavis Smiley, in the last year of his life, people started to despise him just because of that kind of thing, telling them to put down guns. I mean, white folks weren't really stopped being violent. They weren't stopping. I mean, for real. And then like ain't like really all the problems really went away. They kind of adapted and introduced it in other ways. Like, you niggas ain't gotta get married. Yeah, yeah. What you want to get married to a man for? What your top accomplishment ain't gonna be meeting a man. It's getting a career, girl. Becoming a single mother. 18-year plan. Let's punish black guys for crimes that we don't punish white guys that harsh for. They did it in other ways during the Nixon era. Tough on crime. Yeah, store-bought bottled water sure is good. Yeah, but, yeah, man, the way we carry on, man, the way our culture has been bastardized, especially in the public eye, I mean, shit. I think not only Martin Luther King, but, plenty of those civil rights leaders would be ashamed. And then you know what you motherfuckers would do? You'll throw up a middle finger to them. Shoot, you got racist whites that can trace their family back to the 1800s, 1700s even. Shit, we don't even want to trace our lineage back to our father's father. Y'all rather say, "Oh, old nigga." Shoot, man, they went to jail for y'all niggas. A man who got stabbed in his chest for you guys. If I can find that slide real quick. Let me see. Shit, let me go through these slides. Yeah, pretty ass Coretta. I'll get to that in a minute. I thought I put these slides. Oh, there she is. There she is. Zola Curry stabbed Martin Luther King in the chest during a book signing and narrowly missed his heart. Hmm. Yeah, around this time, that Loving versus Virginia was still fresh in everybody's mind. I wonder how the people felt back then when a black woman tried to kill Martin Luther King. Because I hear about James Earl Ray all the time. I didn't know that Martin Luther King got stabbed by a black woman until Paul Winfield played Martin Luther King. Yeah, shoot. And it was a very shocking, disappointing thing to me that not only, that someone would have black made an attempt on this man's life. Yeah, 'cause it was very disappointing to me. I mean, I like when I first saw it, I removed gender from it. I was like, somebody black did that to Dr. Martin Luther King. What the hell was wrong with her? What was wrong with Isola Curry? I hear is a mental problem. Shoot, let me look this up real quick. I got my phone out. Isola Curry. Isola Ware Curry. Stand with a letter opener. Shoot. Let me see. Did they say anything was wrong with her? Let's see. She was in a severe they say that she had an IQ of 70 and she was in a severe state of insanity. They said she was found incapable of understanding the charge against her and was committed to a mental hospital. Yeah, she stayed in supervised care for the rest of her life. Yeah, but how did she get within reach of Martin Luther King and want to stab him? What made him the target if she was mentally unglued like that? Shoot. Did her to an extent knew what she was doing? Or was she the precursor for this sisterhood shit that we see today? Man almost died. She was 42 years old. Yeah, she was 13 years older than Martin Luther King. She was his elder. Imagine that. Hmm. But what y'all got to say about that? Were y'all glad she tried to do that shit? And then she just recently died. This this woman was almost 100 years old. She was 99 years old. Wait a minute. No, not 99. Not quite 99. 98. She was 98 when she died. Evil has a sustainability like a motherfucker. He said, not surprising coming from whites, but from blacks as well. SMH. Yeah, much of that shit we see today. Shoot. Like we've gone from, we shall overcome to wondering we gonna make it out alive in some neighborhoods that's full of us. Well, not surprising from a bunch of undeserving people. Shoot. RPM, what's going on? See you down there. Jake Zero said almost 30, 40 years of we want y'all, but don't need y'all rhetoric is finally coming into effect. Well. SC Gullah Divesta. Yeah, she probably lost her zaddy and then went crazy. You know how they are when they go through zaddy withdrawal. Ask Kayla Nicole. Yeah. But I mean, imagine being that guy that has gone through all that shit, an attempt on his life by his own people. And that man still didn't stop fighting for what he believed in. So let's go through some more slides. And they say behind every great man is a great woman. And believe me, due to her public image, Coretta Scott King was that woman. She was. See, this was the aftermath of that stabbing right there. Martin Luther King in some silk pajamas. She was his ride or die, man, for real. I mean, I would say as far as the level of dedication she showed her husband, we'd be lucky to end up with a woman anywhere close to Coretta. Coretta Scott King was beautiful, man. She was beautiful and she kept her composure like a lady in public. Seriously. He got the pick. He got the top choice. Shoot. Martin Luther King had one of the most beautiful women back in the day. Seriously, man. Seriously. I mean, if you Google Coretta Scott King, man, you will see one of the best looking women you've ever saw. And she ain't have to show no skin to even damn deliver that. That's how you know that's a lady. That's how you know. That's how you know that's a lady. Coretta with her fine self. Man, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Made sure she always had a smile on her face, at least most of the time. I bet you didn't have to ask her to smile. Coretta, why don't you smile for these pictures? Phoenix Rising. Black people didn't like MLK and Malcolm X when they were alive. Yeah, sad truth. Sad truth. Yeah, those black men that killed Malcolm X. Shit. Yeah. If that wasn't a very disappointing moment of that Spike Lee film, I don't know what was. I knew what was gonna happen to Malcolm, but I was not happy about it. I even knew he got shot by some other black guys. Seeing it on screen didn't sit well. The new chick had a mental illness. Yeah. RPM said feminist. I think we talking about Isola Curry. Bray J talking about Isola Curry said she was deemed unfit to stand trial and put in a mental institution. Yeah, she was taken care of for the rest of her days. She died at 98 years old. 98. Some of us won't make it to see 58. 65 years later, a black woman tried to burn down his home. Eerie as hell, man. Yeah, because, like I said, you had this sisterhood that want to snuff out black male leadership. They want to snuff it out, and then they got a lot of help from simps too. And as long as you have historical examples out there like Dr. Martin Luther King, that kind of sentiment will still be alive. I call cap on her having mental issues. She was institutionalized because the truth would have been revealed as to who sent her. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I do kind of remember saying that about a minute ago. Is like, how did she figure to target Martin Luther King if she was all mentally unglued like that? Shoot. Like I said, uh, the assassination of Martin Luther King sounds like it was there was some co-conspirators to that were in his camp. Shoot. Let's see. The woman that got Emmett Till killed lived a long life. Yeah, she lived a long life. Carolyn Bryant, yeah. She got to enjoy her freedom. I mean, she tried this little, I would say, damage control statement. That boy didn't deserve what he got. Of course he didn't. You shouldn't have opened your goddamn mouth. And you got Carolyn Bryant and Isola Curry, out there. Shoot, you didn't like for real. It's like I got a perception of how things were back then, but if I was really back then, if I was really like living back then during those times, would I have the perception that was taught to me as a child? This is why people shouldn't sugarcoat things and try to put this whole concocted legend on them. Just go ahead and tell people the truth, man. The reason why things are so chaotic when it comes to these narratives is because we're lacking the fucking truth. You got all these people arguing because they want to push certain narratives, even if they're false, because they just want to agree with them. Dr. Martin Luther King went shit. He cheated on his wife. Coretta didn't fucking care. I was having a conversation earlier with somebody. They was like, man, look, they tried to show Coretta some tape and some pictures, and she said it wasn't him. Coretta understood that. Coretta understood that the cause was more important than her ego. Yeah, it was more important. Shoot, and I mean, for what it's worth, for who Martin was knocking down, supposedly, I wouldn't have. I mean, seriously, man, I would have tried to keep things cool with Coretta. But hey, like I said, he knocked a few broads down. Hey, who cares? I don't give a damn. I don't care. I don't care if he cheated. Obviously, Coretta didn't either. But, people doing all this high and mighty ass shit, they act like they ain't never made a mistake before. Never ever in their fucking lives ever made a mistake, ever did anything that was imperfect. Like, seriously. But Martin Luther King is a preacher. He's a man of God. Yes, he had a gift. He had the ability to compel people to follow him. Shoot, everybody can't do that. Shoot, yeah, that's his lady right there. There she is again. Imagine that. Imagine that. Every time she's seen with you in public, she got a big, pretty smile on her face. Big, pretty smile. She's that wife. She's the wife of one of the greatest, one of the greatest, perceived greatest black leaders of all time. I mean, you can't say he ain't. Shoot. Show me one who had more recognition than Martin Luther King. And don't say Malcolm X. I would say Malcolm X is close to like the same. Coretta was such a good woman. Jonathan Majors was fantasizing about her. Can't blame him. We all want a Coretta. Yeah. Yeah, they kind of went off the deep end. Jonathan Majors said it Megan Good was like his Coretta. And I mean, I just basically, yeah, it sounded crazy. But then I had to think about it, and he was paying Megan Good the ultimate compliment. Coretta Scott King, for me, I believe that, the present she gave off, she might have like specified what wifey material was. Phoenix Rising, black woman with the Tuskegee experiment. Oh yeah, 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 that too. Pre 1960s, it was that black women were raised different. Yep. Back then, it was easy to find a black woman worth a damn. Ugh. One of the black men are working with FBI. Yeah, that's the. You know what? In that picture I got up on the screen right now, the possibility that one of those guys, or even one of those women, they could be a plant. Shoot, Martin Luther King probably had a couple William O'Neills in his camp. One rumored was Jesse Jackson. See if I can find the Jesse picture. Black family. Rosa Parks. Hush that fuzz. Let me see if I can find the Jesse picture. I want y'all to look at some of this stuff. There he is, Jesse Jackson. Let me tell y'all something about Jesse Jackson. My family has met Jesse Jackson a couple times. And look, no disrespect, but Jesse Jackson acts like a total diva. He does. He acts like a diva. Like seriously. I mean, if y'all met Jesse Jackson, y'all think he was the coolest guy in the world, then that's fine with me. But I didn't see that shit when I met him. Jesse Jackson thumbs his nose to black people. I mean, he got told when he tried to go where Mike Brown was to them protests. I ain't agree with what the nigga was saying. Talking about you ain't black. You can't take away somebody's blackness, dumbass. But I get what you're saying about Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson to me was the biggest Martin Luther King wannabe ever. Because like every time he made a speech, it seemed like he was trying to channel Martin Luther King in all his speeches. Keep hope alive. Yeah, I remember one time my granddaddy, when I was a kid, said Jesse Jackson said that kids shouldn't be watching TV during the week. And then damn, and if that nigga didn't turn around and try to follow that shit. I said, I'm glad we don't live with you, granddaddy. I'm gonna go home to my little black and white TV and watch it as much as I want. I mean, my point was we were influenced by TV too much. But shit, from what word on the street has it that Jesse Jackson might have been a co-conspirator in King's assassination. Might have been. I don't know if that's tangible information. I cannot prove it. And if I could prove it, I'd probably disappear tomorrow. Shoot, I don't trust like that. But let me see. Let me see. In the Boondocks, Martin said, I ain't going with you. I'm going to Canada. Said the Netflix documentary exposes who took out Malcolm X, NYPD, FBI, and the Newark Mosque and the Boston Mosque. Officer Faulkner, what's good? Or Sergeant Faulkner, what's good? The cheating narrative needs to die out. Yeah, I'm gonna show y'all a couple articles here in a minute and show y'all a couple of the women that he was supposedly with. He knocked some bras down that nobody knows. We all know about Coretta, aka the winner. One of them had one of the women he's supposedly knocking down had quite the profile. She was actually working with um Martin Luther King, I believe, in the uh Southern Christian Leadership Conference, I believe. Yeah. Dang, trauma really has some black women hating compliments that correlate to someone whom looks like them. Yeah, I mean shit. Jonathan Majors, after dating a white woman, paid a black woman one heck of a compliment. And everybody sitting up there acting like he just like, oh my God. He's just using Megan Good, you know, to for damage control so he can get support from black people. Like I keep telling our people, do not be so conceited as to believe that you're that needed. This is a funny little graphic though. I mean, you got to keep an eye on a person that like tucks in a full size uh sweatshirt hoodie into some beach pants. That shit that takes a special kind of character to do that. Diabolical. The photographer who documented the civil rights movement worked for the FBI. Oh, okay. So they'll just plants all over the place. This is why, like I say, everybody's like, well, the FBI is watching the Black Manosphere. That's why I'd be like, look, man, what movement led by black men haven't they watched? Shoot, they don't watch them white boys like that. That's how Peyton Gendron was able to walk into that damn grocery store and shoot all those people. But they want to watch us for saying words, man. To law enforcement, do your fucking job. Go after the real criminals. Or, for this time period that we talk about, stop being the damn criminals. Jesse Jackson, aka the king of BP. Yeah, Jesse Jackson was the guy that came up with the term ebonics. Well, I remember my parents being furious about that because my parents like they felt like that it was dumbing down black people. Like you're accepting broken English as an actual lingo. Ebonics. Yeah, that was the funniest shit. Like, I don't know, man. I think I was like 11 or 12 when Jesse Jackson said that. Detroit 313. When Jesse Jackson was to become the first black president in 1984 against Reagan, Jesse Jackson didn't have a chance. What the Democrats did is that, like, we don't have the change for diversity Democrats back then. We still had the pretty much the black people just happy that Democrat is a fucking Democrat. Shoot, but the Democrat that ended up winning the nomination was Walter Mondale, and he had a female running mate named Geraldine Ferraro, and they lost to Ronald Reagan and George Bush. Lost. He said, "I admit I was rolling to that mean, yeah." Shoot, I made the cover photo in the Facebook group. Phoenix Rising says, watch MLK's body language when Jesse tried to embrace MLK after he finished the mountaintop speech. Oh, yeah. I mean, say Jonathan got the Steve Urkel happening. Said Ernest Withers was his name, not Gordon Parks. Let me see. Okay. Oh, that's a conversation. Ernest Withers was the photographer for the FBI. Like I said, when these little young dudes try to fearmonger, let me tell you like this, like, when, I'm from Montgomery, I used to go to house parties and college kids used to, come to those house parties as well. This is back in my much younger days, of course. But then these motherfuckers, you tell, man, be careful out in these Montgomery streets, man. I be like, nigga, take a bath, man. What you telling me about this for? The point is like, look, man, everybody's always gonna watch us. They're like, for real. Martin Luther King was preaching peace, and they still was monitoring what he was saying. So why should I let some young goofball tell me that the FBI is coming for us? Fuck out of here. They went for Martin Luther King too. Martin Luther King wasn't saying no cold shit like wasn't talking about overthrowing the government. He was talking about like, look, let's talk to them and make peace. Let's shake their hand. We all gotta be here. That's all he was saying. Even after he said something like, "Oh, well, not based on the color of the skin, but the content of the character," they still put a bullet in his head. So, okay, let's start to talk about the supposed infidelity. All right. So I think this is the Southern Christian Leadership Conference right here. Yeah. So Martin Luther King's, of course, is the center because he's of course the famous one, and Andrew Young is the guy in. He's to the left, standing up. He's the last guy on the left of the screen, standing up. So, but the woman that is sitting by Dr. Martin Luther King allegedly was his main side piece, Dorothy Cotton. Allegedly, she was a civil rights activist, and she looks like she knows how to work with men without doing this Mary Sue crap. Detroit 313 says, meanwhile, white pastors be saying red pill is striking the truth on people, but FBI ignores it. Bray J said MLK was heavily monitored because he was being used as a joystick by a well known communist, uh, tiny hat wearer. Hmm. Put a name in the chat. See if I agree with that. Like I said, I'm real careful with information like that. Red Sigma said everything we say bounces off countless servers before we hear it. There is no secrets from the man now. No, no, none. Technology has gotten too deep and too great. Shit. Everything we've done on the internet, like including you guys that frequent porn, like myself at one point. Man, they know all of that shit. They know enough about you to search on the internet to make up a personality profile about you. So, like I said, be careful. Dorothy was the only one that came out to the public. Stanley Levinson was his name. So, so basically, what you're implying, Bray J, is that Martin Luther King was a plant. I mean, if I find anything that's solid on Stanley Levinson, I'll probably try to do a video on it. But yeah, the woman right here, Dorothy Cotton, that was supposedly Martin Luther King's. They classify her as a second wife to him. Second wife. Now, this is just information that I Googled. You can take Google as a grain of salt or an actual source of information. But shoot, I'm just saying, you can always fact find. You can always fact find to debunk. So let me see. MLK, Dorothy Cotton. Let me see if I can find that story so I can read some excerpts from it. The one I was reading earlier. Dorothy Cotton, Dorothy Cotton, Dorothy Cotton. I found that article early. Story of Dorothy Cotton. Let's see. Yeah. Just a moment. Trying to see how I search that term. Martin Luther King cheating, Martin Luther King infidelity. Okay. All right. Let me see if I can look at it that way. Infidelity. Because I mean, this is something that I've been hearing for years. I never really took a dive into it. I think a lot of people have like kept infidelity. Okay. Yeah. Civil rights activists. M let's see, the other woman in King's life, blah blah blah. MLK cheated, but it doesn't bother me. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just looking for an article. That's all. I mean, I had a really good article pulled up, but I lost it. I lost it. Shit. Let's see. Let's see. Let me see if I can. I don't know why smartphones work different from damn laptops, and it's the same goddamn account. Shit, same account. Because I read an interesting little bit, like the night before Martin Luther King was assassinated. Uh, Dark Lake revived. Just a moment. The night before Martin Luther King was assassinated, there's a story that Ralph David Abernathy told. He was saying that in the hotel room that Dr. King and Dorothy Cotton, was the lady's picture here, is they said that they got adjoining rooms. And let me see. Let me turn to another picture so y'all can get a better view of Mrs. Cotton. Shoot, because I don't know. I'm a classic kind of guy. Because like I think she kind of pretty. I mean, supposedly like April 3rd, 1968, they got adjoining rooms and she had prepared a dinner for him. He went out and went to a couple places, did his civil rights thing, and I think they went to a rally for sanitation workers, and she waited for him all night. But supposedly, and he went to handle some business with another activist. Uh, this is according to Ralph David Abernathy. Now, I take this kind of with a grain of salt because the preachers that were around King, I believe, were probably the jealous type because he was so popular, and then the precursors to Niggerlander syndrome. He supposedly went and splacked this activist named Tarlese Matthews. And then he went and saw this other woman. I forgot her name. Good God. I should have wrote this shit down. Yeah, it was another woman that she was a civil rights activist too. Like he went to her room when she got back to the hotel. And then the morning of the day he got assassinated, he got in this huge blow up with her. This huge blow up. And she left the hotel. And like when she got back home, she heard that Martin Luther King had been assassinated. And she was pretty damaged about that for 2 years. She didn't get over it for like 2 years. She was down in the dumps like that. That was her play hubby. Or supposedly her play hubby. I mean, yes. So when y'all say white woman, and then when I started to look it up to see who he was really with, I said that looks like a black woman to me. And then the second female was a black woman. The second female I found and discovered that he was being dishonest with was a black woman. So he seemed to like the sisters. Yeah, this woman right here, he was supposedly knocking her down too. Like I said, if I can find that story, let's see, not the medium, not the okay, I think it was this one right here. Yeah, it is the conversation. So yeah, this says quite a few things. Yeah, there it is. There it is. I found it. I found it, y'all. So let me share the screen. I'm gonna read some of this I'm gonna read some of this article and then I'm gonna drop the link. In fact, let me go ahead and okay. Okay. Go ahead and do that. Yeah. So the civil rights activist so close to Martin Luther King Jr., she was thought of as his other wife. Can you imagine your whole constituency knowing about this, but Coretta wasn't? Yeah, she wasn't, and she wasn't bad looking, I would say, but, that's just my taste. I don't think she was all that bad looking. I think, in fact, I think she was kinda cute. She just didn't really have anything on Coretta, but, beauty's in the eyes of the beholder. So let me see. There was some stuff that I read, and they was talking about this is from the FBI files, and, like, I mean, during those times, can you really trust that shit? Can you? Can you? So it says, "Who was Dorothy Cotton?" So let's give her some due. She had a significant role in the civil rights movement. She was the only woman who would eventually take the title of director within King's Southern Christian Leadership Conference. She often traveled with King, and she was with him in Memphis during his last days alive. So yeah, so for what's being said that, when he would used to go on civil rights tours, he used to stop at her house in Atlanta before he went home to his wife and kid. I was like, "Well, that probably sounds about right for someone who's an infidel, if that was the case." So, it was like King's other wife. This is King's other wife. Saint Garrow told me he first learned about Cotton's relationship with King in 1979. Since then, many subsequent scholars have even come to think of Cotton as King's other wife, but each has deferred to Cotton's wishes to stay silent about it while she was alive. Oh, okay. So basically, she spilled the tea and didn't want nobody to know about it till she was dead due to her own public embarrassment. I mean, and people are quite messy, so, I get that. I get that. And, as, Bray J says, MLK liked light-skinned black women, especially since he couldn't marry the white woman. He wanted to marry the white Russian woman. I believe it was back during the theological seminary days. Oh, okay. Just like Obama almost married a white woman, but he knew he couldn't become president, so he married Michelle. I mean, I heard about that. Okay, so let me read this. 'Cause see, this is Ralph Abernathy's account. So he says the last night at the Lorraine, and I'll put the link to this article in the chat. I mean, well, in the description after after I cut the live stream off. He said in 1989, civil rights activist Ralph Abernathy published his own autobiography, and the walls came tumbling down. In it, without naming names, he noted that King spent his final night alive in Memphis along with different women at various points. Wow. At the time, many dismissed Abernathy's account, arguing that he had perhaps written to spite King. Just like yeah, just like I said, uh, I think a lot of the preachers that were around King might have actually been jealous of Martin Luther King because they didn't resonate like he did. I mean, like I said, he had a gift. Okay. So, whom he sometimes felt had received the lion's share of the credit for the civil rights work the two friends had done in concert. However, in the years since, Abernathy's portrayal had gradually been verified on several fronts. And okay, whoever did the interview, he said, and in my interview with Cotton, she went into even more detail about those heartbreaking final hours. And then they misdated in the article. This is supposed to be April 3rd, 1968, not 1963. Dorothy had flown with King and others to Memphis to support the city's sanitation workers strike. Yeah, because Dr. King started going to money next. I mean, he already hit him hard with that Montgomery bus boycott. Yeah, that was 3 years of losing money for the Montgomery bus transportation system. So I guess that's when they learned that financial protests are very effective. So hey, let's try this again because Martin Luther King. Had he lived, would have had a poor people's march. So it says, she checked into the Lorraine Motel and was assigned room 307 right next to King's room 306. That evening, King delivered his mountaintop speech at the Mason Temple before a feisty crowd of striking workers. I want you to know tonight, King Boom, that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. Yeah. Yeah, that's when everybody started screaming. Dorothy didn't attend the speech. She had stayed behind the Lorraine Motel. Anticipating that King would be hungry upon his return, she went out to get some fried chicken. Then she waited for him in her room in a nightie with a box of fried chicken and waited. He never showed up. At around 3 a.m., she peeked into his room next door. He wasn't there. With her plate of food, she wandered the grounds of the motel in the rain looking for him. Man, he was putting it on her. Like, good God. She didn't know that King had been home. He had been at the home of the civil rights activist Tarlese Matthews across town around 11 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. And she hadn't realized that. When King returned to Lorraine, he eventually ended up in Kentucky State Senator Georgia Davis Powers' room on the floor below. Whereas Powers would later write, the two became intimate. Oh, okay, yeah, that was the other woman that I showed y'all the picture of. That's her name was Georgia Davis Powers. So they said the next morning at around 7 a.m., King showed up at Cotton's room as Abernathy detailed, and as the walls came tumbling down, Cotton and King began fighting. She was annoyed that she had waited up all night for him. King pleaded with her to stay. Instead, that man was begging like Spike Lee. Please, baby, baby, please. I mean, she took her already packed bags and left on a 1 p.m. flight to Atlanta with the Christian Leadership Conference staffer, Jim Harrison, who was at the time an FBI informant. They had plants all in that motherfucker. And Southern Christian Leadership Conference press secretary, Tom Offenberger. Exhausted upon arriving in Atlanta, she quickly fell asleep. She was awoken by the next door neighbor, Rita Samuels, who told her that King had been shot dead. It took her over 2 years to get over his death. To Cotton, he was more than a mentor. He was more than a lover. He was, she said, my best friend. Oh, okay. So, yep, there it was. There it was. I mean, well, however you feel about Martin Luther King, there's supposedly a few women out there that he had been unfaithful with, Coretta. But the thing is, though, Coretta was a unique individual, super unique. Yeah, that's her name right there, Georgia Davis Powers. So you mean to tell me that Martin Luther King was pulling off this stuff like just multiple women whenever he made like one of these sermons? Like, wow. I mean, how much of y'all? I mean, how much do y'all believe in the chat? How much do y'all actually believe this stuff is true? So said his mistress, some cookie and fried chicken. What up, bad black gamer? Okay, he said Phoenix Rising. What is Phoenix Rising? His room was switched so the assassin could have a better angle. Uh, Andrew Young accidentally let that. Andrew Young had something to do with it too. So that's three of them. There's Andrew Young, Jesse Jackson, and that dude that let that shit slip out in that speech. And I had to get out of the sniper's way so he can get a clear shot. Like, I mean, a gasp came over that crowd. Let me see. I think I had found it. Let me see if I can find it so I can show you guys. Preacher slips talking about MLK. Sales on himself. Yeah, it was a YouTube video. Let's see. Preacher slips and telling himself. Shoot. Let's see. All right, shoot. Okay. Oh, there it is. There it is right there. All right, preacher slips up and tell on himself. Yeah. Says not true. Sounds like something the FBI cooked up. Man, any of that shit could be possible, man. I mean, like the one thing that we are severely like as a people, the one thing that we severely have is programming. We are programmed very easily, and we're also programmed like for the long term as well. So everything we were taught is like if someone actually came up with some new evidence to the contrary, we would do our best to fight to keep the program. And that's just how it is. It's not as if we're presenting some type of weakness. It's just what it is. Some of the best of us that got. So let's see. All right. So that was her. That was supposedly one of his girlfriends. I mean, well, according to that night, shit, that was like maybe the first time he popped that thing or whatever. But the side chick wasn't happy about that, And I had a cousin that had a wife and a side chick, and and he had a side chick to the side chick, and the side chick got upset. Crazy shit I ever seen because like both of them knew that they was fucking this man behind his wife's back. I'm like, you hoes are crazy. Like seriously. Like this shit is not called for. So let me see if I can find that video so I can show it to y'all real quick because all it does is present another reason. Is another reason why I can say that our people don't deserve activism from black men. Black men just need to stay at home and do for self. Shoot. And it's so fucking sad. So let's see. Reverend Samuel Billy Cowles. Okay, is that it? Okay. Okay. All right. I don't see the video I've found in Google. I'm like, it's on YouTube. Shit. Once again, forgive me, guys. Please be patient. I thank you for all of you watching with your continued patience. Okay. All right. I found it. Let me go to history. There it is. All right. So let me share the screen once again and show y'all this, and then I will open up the panel. I will open up the panel because I know some of y'all got to say because Dark Lake was asking. So shoot, anybody want to come up to this panel and share their thoughts on Martin Luther King? Go right ahead. But I don't know if many of you have seen this before, and the audio is pretty jacked up on it. So yeah, we're gonna skip past the Dick Gregory part, and and hopefully you guys can hear this because I first saw this some years ago, and it just furthered my perception that our people are just fucking screwed. It had been screwed for a long time, and some of us are still hanging on to that slight hope that that is not the case. So let me play this real quick. Hope put a one in the chat if y'all can hear at least halfway what he's saying.
Even as they marched, now they could have stopped in a hotel, but when you think about marching from Memphis to Jackson or Jackson to Memphis, there were no hotels. You stayed in churches, you stayed in people's homes, and that's how we got over. That's how we got through. The struggle was a spiritual struggle. You couldn't pay people to do what we had to do. You couldn't pay people to stand before mad dogs and fire hoses and billy clubs and cattle prods. It was strictly a spiritual and moral movement. So we wanted that dimension to be in the pilgrimage to Memphis. We will revisit the mountaintop speech site. That's the Mason's Temple, where Dr. King made his last address, which he almost didn't make because the night that we were having that rally, there were tornado warnings, and he was behind on the Poor People's Campaign. And he said, you guys go on over and have the rally. I'm going to stay at the motel and work on the Poor People's Campaign. When we got there and Dr. Abernathy walked in and Jesse Jackson walked in and I walked in and others, people started clapping because they thought Martin was behind us. And so Ralph's preacher said to him, this is not our crowd. And he went to the phone and called Dr. King and said,
okay, y'all called that right. Told y'all about that little jealousy.
any of the marches that we had in those days, you have an opportunity to bring the children and bring the family and march with us. And when I finished sharing with them the last hour of Dr. King's life, oh, hurry. But that gave me the wonderful privilege of spending the last hour on earth. 3 preachers in a room, Abernathy, King, and Kyle. And we spent that last hour together in room 306 at the Lorraine Motel. The press is always curious, and writers, what went on? What did you talk about? I say, we just talk preacher talk. What preachers talk about when they get together.
Y'all pay real attention to what you're fixing to hear now.
About 5:45, we walked on the balcony, and he was talking to people in the courtyard. He stood here, and I stood there. Only as I moved away, so we could have a clear shot, the shot rang out.
Thank you.
I turned around, and then
See, immediately he should have got his ass out of there. Yeah, so let me hear that again. Cause see, this really is like this is the kind of thing that really caused me trust issues. With people, just to be more aware of, keeping my eyes open for snakes and such, because you will never know who's out there to screw you over. So
what preachers talk about when they get together.
Y'all pay real attention to what you're fixing to hear now.
About 5:45, we walked on the balcony, and he was talking to people in the courtyard. He stood here, and I stood there. Only as I moved away, so we could have a clear shot, the shot rang out.
Thank you.
I turned around, and then
I'd have ran up there on that stage and slapped the shit out of that motherfucker. Seriously. Yeah, it'd have been the most shocking moment of whatever year that was. Young man runs up to the stage and slaps the shit out of a preacher who was friends with Martin Luther King. And I know this is a statement that we use quite often, but this is why we lose. This is why we lose. Niggas like this. Well, we'll replace King. We got this young man coming up named Al. Al looking like a Mississippi pimp. Bitch better have my sweet potato. Yeah. Well, see, what really started all of this shock value crap about the civil rights movement, and I'm not saying that people had their skepticisms and their doubts beforehand. I'm not saying that. But what really started for real, was that movie, The Barbershop. Because I remember what a big ass controversy it was that, Cedric the Entertainer's character, Eddie, the eldest barber in the shop. Yeah, Rosa Parks ain't do nothing but sit her black ass down. Man, that ruffled some feathers. And see, the thing is, I would kind of want us as black men to leave that alone, to leave the whole Rosa Parks thing alone, because it is clear evidence that black men have always protected black women, have always looked out for black women. The whole fucking boycott was about a black woman. But we forget that because a certain amount of bitches live vicariously through other bitches. Should we forget that? So now you got a bunch of trifling niggas back then, and you got a bunch of trifling ass people right now that wouldn't bust a grape in a goddamn fruit fight, but want to sit up here and talk about what we should do, or shitting on the activism that Dr. King and Malcolm X actually tried to give to blacks, to let to let us know if we got anything of a fucking brain that we got a fighting chance. And people have the audacity to be ungrateful about Martin Luther King's sacrifice. Fuck up out of here with that. But what's good, officer, sergeant?
Oh, puffing a cigar and drinking some fine VSOP in the memory of the great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. You know, probably the greatest black man we had in the last 200 years. I mean, he's literally up there with Garvey, Booker T. He has, put it to you this way, there's very few black men. His shoes probably are worth more than most black people ever dream about being. Um, I'm an investigator by trade, right?
Yep.
Putting this information out there, who wins?
So, what you
Who
mean
wins?
who wins? Who
Who
putting
wins?
it?
Who benefits putting this information that he cheated on his wife out there? Who wins? Who
Who
benefits?
wins? Who wins?
Hmm.
I wouldn't think that there was any winners, but enlighten me.
There are winners.
There are winners. What are you talking about? The power structure? You
Like,
know,
who
did,
benefits off of his legacy being tarnished?
who benefits off his legacy being tarnished? You're gonna have to enlighten me, bro. I really want to have the answer to this, but if there's something for me to learn here, I want to give
I'm
you the opportunity to teach
gonna tell everybody about investigations. Take your feelings out of it.
it.
Not saying that you have it, but I tell everybody take your feelings out of investigations.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Who would win out of him if he was cheating?
If
Two.
you if he was cheating, who would
Yeah.
win?
Who would win? Who would benefit from it?
Ah, shit. If he was cheating, yeah. If this information's out here, who would benefit from it? I want to.
And don't you think that if they had information on him that they could have crushed the civil rights movement within a week?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
So
there was all the phone taps, the wiretaps, the
this is
harassment.
this is something that makes you think this is the same country that dropped bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Okay?
Hmm.
And why not drop the bomb? You would have broke the black civil rights movement in one fell swoop.
Yeah, you would have destroyed people's hope. And then looking at Martin Luther King as a leader, you have a certain expectation for his image. And to have and people were really like, there wasn't all this little sexual freedom shit like back then, like as there are today. No, you were ashamed for that shit. There was a woman named Claudette Colvin who did the Rosa Parks before Rosa Parks, and they didn't want to uplift her because she was a pregnant woman. So that really tells you about some of the standard that existed back then as to, versus what we see now. So
And I'm gonna believe, and by the way, I like to say this because I did a 50-minute soliloquy of my thoughts before coming on your show.
yeah.
Fuck people like B. Simone and other celebrity women
Yep.
because it's mostly the women who say this shit. Men, we tend to be way more honorable. And I want you to realize this. If I have, let's say, we'll go to the sport of wrestling. If I have an advantage of you in the strength department, would I be a damn fool not to use it?
Yeah.
Speed, skill. I'd be pretty stupid not to use whatever advantage I hold over you, right? These are the same people that came up with COINTELPRO. But y'all quick to believe that white man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And
Everything's
see,
a conspiracy theory. But then when the white man says it, oh man, it must be plausible. It must be true. The ice is always colder. That means Martin
see,
Luther King must have cheated like a motherfucker. And they always use like something sexual to try to get us with. You know, this society's obsession with sexual deviancy is ridiculous.
mm-hmm. And see, what makes it more interesting, if you don't let me take you down the rabbit hole, we're gonna find some damn rabbits today. Why have there been no tapes? Because everything from that time was declassified.
Mm-hmm.
This is the same country doing a civil lawsuit found guilty of conspiring again for the assassination of Dr. King.
Mm-hmm.
But we will sit here and talk about these are the same motherfuckers that will tell you they don't believe statistics, but when we bring up the statistics that black men are the best fathers on planet Earth, they don't believe them. But
No.
these are the same bitches with degrees will tell you we're the most educated, right?
Laughable, but good. Okay, but continue.
So when we're investigating this crime, because it is a crime, why have all these people who wanted to be a part of history? And we know how black people are significantly jealous of each other. And nobody's more jealous than a black Baptist Southern preacher. Think about this. What purpose did this serve trying to use defamation against a man who was the head of the struggle? Who wins? Who benefits? You didn't even know who Jesse Jackson totally was till King was out the way.
Mm. Just okay. So because like I bought up the little jealousy piece because
Oh, you
like
know they were jealous. Oh, we already know they're
yeah
jealous. A
yeah because
Negro is a
the preacher
Negro is a Negro.
yeah the preacher was like, oh, we heard all this applause because people thought King was behind us, and then Reverend Abernathy said that wasn't for us. I was like, yeah. And Jesse Jackson, since Martin Luther King got assassinated, he tried to be Martin Luther King's replacement so bad, but it seemed like his approach was just like disingenuous. Like I said, like my family met Jesse Jackson a couple times. Like one like St. Jude Educational Institute, which was like I think it was the final stop on the Selma. Like I think it was stop 4. Yeah, it was stop 4 on the Selma to Montgomery March. Um, yeah, my grandmother was the cafeteria manager at school, and Jesse Jackson came up in there like, just like he was a celebrity. Like, that the people were beneath him. I mean, it's just very unbecoming of someone who's supposed to fancy himself as the leader of the people when you're treating everybody like they are beneath you. But, just like but I kind of get what you're saying, like right now, Faulkner, Sergeant Faulkner, because like when Tupac died, who benefited from that? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's,
yeah,
it's
it
like
was it
first
was his constituency. It was Martin Luther
it,
King's constituency.
it's think about this, right? If Aaliyah was still living, do you think Destiny's Child would be as big as they were?
Nope. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for y'all. I mean, sorry to say that. I mean, who knows?
No, they would.
Beyonce would still, surpass, but I mean, but yeah,
She would
people been
surpass the group, but she would not be bigger than Aaliyah. And the
yeah.
only reason she got that big is because she was tied up with Jay-Z in that money making scheme.
Oh yeah, because Aaliyah's star was rising when she passed away. It was yeah, she had just did Queen of the Damned.
Mm-hmm. And if she would have
Which
been into more movies, I want to take you into the world of investigations. Number one, always look for what's out of place because really what's out of place is always going to be the best way to hide shit is in plain sight. So if we have men of the cloth who were not the most honorable people, and look at Messy Jesse because we got physical evidence of him and his fidelities. He got children, illegitimate children.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. All of them was freaky. All of them were freaky something back then. But
So, so we got to look at it. You think the United States government didn't conspire with these men?
mm,
Something's wrong with you if you didn't think that.
no, I believe they very much so conspired with those men.
And then Homeboy had the greatest Freudian slip of all times. And if any of you think these tapes were so true, guess what? Even if the tapes were just played to Coretta and she filed, because God knows that'd have been the grounds for divorce, especially back then. Why the fuck didn't they play them? And one of the biggest things they could have played was what? Dr. King getting divorced.
Oh yeah, that would have that would have definitely killed the movement. Like I said, we were so much more judgmental back then than we are now. Yeah. But let's see. Bray J says at our new stall, the release of those tapes continue to be pushed back. I believe because certain people are still alive. Yeah, because they were supposed to release the tapes like 4 years ago, and they didn't do it then. So I mean, it's they're giving you they're and Bray J has a point because I guess they want to get you far enough away from it to where everybody who's around back then would die, so they can retcon history. You
Here's the
know,
question. Here's the question, right? If those tapes truly existed at any point, they could have done that now. They could have done that when he was assassinated. They could have done that to quell a lot of shit. But here's the problem: something doesn't add up,
mm,
and they know it.
a lot of that
They
shit.
know. They know it. So a lot of these people who's claiming that, well, Dr. King is all, he was cheating on his wife. He did it. He did this. He did this.
Mm,
Where's your proof?
yeah. Well, up on the screen is that was that's Betty Moyes. Moitz spelled Moitz. That was
I bet you
supposed,
she was.
yeah. She was supposedly the white woman that Martin Luther King was with. Supposedly.
Do you know how much a fucking white woman would have just killed the fucking movement?
Mm. Yeah, I remember when this I don't know, I remember somebody in the chat like a few weeks back tried to say the civil rights movement was about black men having access to white women. And then I had to remind this ignorant fucking person that, okay, so we're not going to focus on Levin versus Virginia now, are we? And like the civil, like for me, is like, I really don't like when people from other states like say things that are negative about the civil rights movement. Like, it's just that, because I had actual people who participated that are in my family. And it makes me feel some kind of way when somebody says some ignorant ass shit just for shock. Just to shock some folks. Just to try to be daring, trying to, say some bullshit just to say some bullshit. Let's see. They said, why wait? They could embarrass black people to high heaven and MLK plus everyone involved. Come on, these are white folks. They'd
But you
be
know
proud to
what?
do that.
You niggas get your fucking Black History from a goddamn YouTube fucking video.
I mean, it's nothing wrong as long as it's factual.
But that's the problem. These niggas, half these niggas in this space probably flat earthers anyway.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. What's up, son? It's high raw. Uh, yeah, man. But like I said, this right here up here, this is supposedly the white woman that Martin Luther King was. I don't know if he was cheating or is this the one they were talking about that he was with before he was with Coretta? Uh, shoot, who is Martin Luther King's white girlfriend? The white woman he could never be with. Oh, okay. They said she was around when he was studying to become a pastor. So that was before Coretta. Man said
So,
flat earthers are a special kind of stupid. Yeah, man. I mean, but they TikTok videos be so believable.
how can the earth be flat? I said, wait a minute. Take a ball, right? Take a flashlight.
Yeah.
Does the light from the fucking flashlight shine all around the fucking ball, or is one part shadowed? Well. How do you explain the hollow earth? Get the fuck out of here. Like,
Is it a hollow earth? I mean, now I will say this. I believe that if we were to find some things out about, our surroundings and where we live that they didn't want us to know, I think we'd end up dead. But, I'll just go with I'll just go with the information I've been given because like at the end of the day, does it really matter? We're still on this planet. And if, whether it's round or it's flat, ain't shit we can do about it. I
nope.
mean, if they just live. But yeah, Chaos Rain ain't said shit yet. Chaos Rain just kind of hangs out, like old Ass Munch was saying, I'm just here, I'm just here, and then wants to attack kids. Oh God. RPM said I debunked a whole group of them just by showing them YouTube videos of people sending GoPros to the edge of space. Okay. Yeah, because according to flat earthers, this planet is covered by something called a firmament.
The firmament is what you think. What you think the outer atmosphere is called back in the biblical days?
The firmament. But they talk about it. I mean, disclaimer: these are conspiracies. Do not take what I'm saying seriously. This is the edutainment part. That is the entertainment part. Okay. Flat earthers say that the world is surrounded. The world is very, very vast. It's surrounded by a block of ice. That's why Antarctica has an embargo for people not to go in it. And this place is covered by an impenetrable firmament, which means that, we are this, which literally means that we are the center of the universe. There's no other life out there. The other planets are fake. The stars are fake. The sun and the moon are just two lights that are in the sky, and they're not really celestial bodies. I mean, man, I'm telling
How
you.
much? How much technology you think would take to do that? How much
So,
power would it take for a light to shine over a hemisphere?
how much power? You would have to generate a lot of fucking power in order for that to happen. I mean, no, like I say, I'll just go with the previous scientific explanations and not have to go through looking like an idiot.
I
It's
had a
just
kid. I had a kid try to tell me this, who's 20, and I was like, "You one of them flat earther motherfuckers, aren't you?
yeah,
You're a
yeah,
special kind of stupid, aren't you?"
yeah. Yeah, the same kind of people that believe that there are like 20 genders. But yeah, Chris G says in 1967 poll, MLK had a 75% negative approval rating and one of the most hated men in America, the Reverend SMH. He received daily death threats for years. Most could never imagine that. R.I.P. MLK.
You're a reverend. You're a man of the cloth. But these special kind of white people wanted your death.
Yeah. This is why I
But
say
we
Coretta. This is why I say Coretta's a special kind of woman. Like she's seen mostly with him in public. Well, granted, those are his younger days. Yeah. But yeah, go ahead, Faulkner. I didn't mean to cut you off like that.
I'm just confused by this because we love to be very stupid in our thoughts, and we like to believe some of the most irritating and ignorant trash ever. Why? Because we don't like to see black people at the greatest of our heights.
No, not really. Like we want to. Some of us want to stay in this subservient position. Some of us will fight to keep the programming alive. And
Right? You
yeah,
can't out nigga me.
yeah, pretty much. Like we live in a time where people actually glorify being niggas.
Nigga.
But we'll sit up there and argue with you about you being black. Oh, we're not black. Black is the color of a crayon. I'm like, stop. I mean, seriously. Like, you want to fight for this, but you don't want to fight for that. It's shit's confusing, man. People need to learn how to pick their battles and pick their struggles rather than to, just try to want to be right.
It's
But
like I said before. You know, waking up after the dream. We went out of our way to make this shit a nightmare.
mm, yeah, Bray J said Betty Moyes is the white woman that I mentioned before that MLK wanted to be with during the seminary before during the seminary before settling with Coretta. But see, the thing is though, the arguments that I always heard was that Martin Luther King was cheating on Coretta with white women. And then the ones that he supposedly cheated with were black women. So if the white woman was before he got married, nobody got a fucking thing to say about that anyway. I mean, people let all this dick policing blind them. Like Son is Hot Ross said, a flat earther one time said, if the earth was round, we will fall off it. And we corrected and roasted him, saying that we can't fall off whether the earth is flat or not because of gravitational pull. Damn, that's something that they didn't consider.
I
That
mean,
thing called gravity.
that damn thing called centrifugal force, nigga. What was that? Anything spinning at a certain velocity you can't fall out of.
Mm. Yeah, centrifugal force. Decades later, and black folks are still helping to spread COINTELPRO rumors about MLK and the NOI Malcolm X madness. I used to hate the use of the word COINTELPRO. I knew it was an actual thing, but it's sometimes once us as a people get a hold of words, we have a tendency to overuse them.
Like, confront. I swear to God, fuck Ricky Lake because black people didn't even know what the word was.
Yeah. Or here's another one, narcissist.
Oh my God. Bitches kill me with that shit.
You're a
Uh,
narcissist. Why? Because I want to agree with you being wrong?
You're a
La-
narcissist. Like I hate it when chicks tell me about their ex boyfriends. He was a narcissist because he fooled me. A narcissist by
yeah.
definition would never need see the use of changing themselves because they would see nothing wrong with themselves to change. Get the fuck out of here.
Mhm. Brady said, I only brought it back up because you put her picture up. I wasn't expecting that. I was already going to talk about it, but I'm glad that you gave me the context of, that was before, because like I said, many people's argument about Martin Luther King was that he was screwing white women behind Coretta Scott King's back. And when I did my research, which was nothing but Google, um, like I then that's when I discovered that the ones he was supposedly cheating with were black. Like now, the when people throw up that whole white woman thing, white women this, and he wanted to screw white women. I mean, does it make a difference now that the women he cheated with were black?
The
Doesn't
women he cheated with was that white bitch. Because you know we hate that white bitch.
I mean,
So
a cheat should be a cheat no matter who it is. Uh,
no, it's worse because she's a white bitch, and I have issues about white bitches because I want to really beat them.
yeah, I mean, if they struggling to, make sure their hair look like just like their hair, then I mean, it might be somewhat of an indication.
Man, you got to sing that in the turn of Ducktales. White bitch, woo.
He was screwing light skinned black women, including the woman he had 4 kids with. It's like they'll say this shit like we're all black, but then they'll take it to skin tone. That's why like I don't believe for a second that black men actually push colorism.
We never did.
We never did, man. Cause like I said, we don't push colorism. Like I live like I may be in these virtual spaces talking, but I also live in the real world. And what I see is black couples, all shapes, all sizes, and all shades. You know, he had a type. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, he had a type. Yeah. Does it matter? No, it doesn't, Days. No, it does. It does not matter. I mean, shit. I mean, what's important to me is he got out there and did something that most of us would not have had the courage to do. You got like I said, and then he got a bunch of old people marching them streets with him. Like those are some of the bravest people in history. I mean, because they knew what they were facing once they went out there. Peaceful, peaceful protesting, and hell no. I remember, I remember who was that got killed? Alton Sterling. They had put out like Facebook and social media tried to wipe all the videos away. But man, when they were protesting, when Alton Sterling got killed, man, them there were black men and black women out there alike because according to a bunch of the sisterhood, there's only black women on the front lines. But they was pepper spraying them like a motherfucker out there. Like they were sitting down peacefully and they were pepper spraying. So, like, they got a taste of what older individuals went through back then. I mean, it's not like it doesn't still happen, I would say, but I mean, what I'm trying to emphasize is the bravery of those people. And they deserve our grace. They deserve the flowers. And for people like I said, for people to always sit there and to always sit there and try to disrespect shit like the civil rights movement. Because I mean, like, what would have like for those people, what would have been a better idea? What would have been a better idea? I mean, enlighten us, enlighten the guy that has seen like the Southern Poverty Law Center more times than he actually wanted to. Because I used to drive by that motherfucker to go to work back in the day. Like, it was when the Southern Poverty Law Center came, like when they first built it, and then they had that little. I know you've probably seen the picture of that little waterfall part, and they had a Martin Luther King quote on there until something like justice rolls down like a river and righteous look like a mighty stream. I mean, yeah, I used to drive by that bitch all the time. What they did, sorry, my choice of words is kind of poor, calling it bitch. But yeah, they used to give away this booklet that described all like it was like an in memoriam book and described like all of the civil rights people that died in the movement. Some of the names like Medgar Evers. And, there was another white woman that was pretty significant to the movement, but she was married and she had some kids. What she would do is she would drive to the north and transport freedom fighters and civil rights workers to the south. And like on one of those trips, she was shot in the head by some white men. And the white men that were tried, of course, they were acquitted. And, they had their little Klan rally where they were signing autographs. Now, if that doesn't burn a motherfucker up, I don't know what does. Just
Not
like,
these things.
yeah, yeah, just like the 4 girls who got the church bombing. That was awful. And the white men that did that, they got acquitted, and they were at a Klan rally signing autographs not too long after that.
You know what makes me look at black people weird? And I said this on my show. You're the only group of people that would ask for peace when a motherfucker put you at gunpoint, but let another Negro have a transgression against you. You motherfuckers are hot to trap.
Mm.
I want you to think about that.
Mm.
Another Negro do something against you. You ready to go take his head off, kill him, do all kinds of vicious shit.
Mm.
But
Well,
yet, let that black man do something. Let that white man do something. No, we gotta forgive him. You
oh
know, cause God knows his heart.
yeah. Yeah, man. Cause like I said, like I used to say, a white business do you wrong. It's just a business, and you'll give them a chance to make it up. A black business makes a mistake. It's a black business, and you don't want to go to those businesses anymore. That's the difference in thinking. Like, basically what you just emphasized. Like, we are hard pressed to forgive each other for anything. We are hard pressed to help anyone in this community prosper, with the exception of a very few of us. And we still have the audacity to carry that mentality around. What
That
picture?
nigga got that nigga got 4,001 subscribers. I got 4,000. Fuck him and his channel.
Yeah. I wonder this picture right here. I wonder what was the cause behind this picture. Cause I saw this picture used in a meme, and the caption said, "Why don't you get them civil rights bitches to make you some breakfast?" And I approached it with a light heart. I thought it was funny, but there it is again, putting it out in the air that Martin Luther King was nothing but a cheat, and he did nothing good, and he only made the effort to disarm black people. And my argument to that is everybody knew what they was doing. They made the choice to follow whoever they wanted to follow. And if they thought that King's nonviolent approach worked, that's what they did. Nobody was made to do anything. King was like, Dr. King was like, oh, you better get your ass out there and take that ass whooping from that white man. He wasn't saying that.
Uh-huh. Well, yes, they were like, well, if I was out there, I'd have fought back. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
You'd have been dead.
yeah, your ass have been scared just like the rest. Like, I love when people talk shit about something that they know that they don't have to prove.
Mhm.
Okay. All Space said the old heads where I'm from, Birmingham, didn't roll with the nonviolent shit either. Too many of the pastors were afraid and pushing a nonviolent stance, though. SMH. I
Here's
mean,
the part about nonviolence, right? What would happen if black people get violent?
a show of force like you've never seen will show up.
No, no, no. I want you to answer that. Did you ever hear about the Deacons of Defense?
Yeah, I heard about DOD. Yes.
They were the guys who were bodyguarding Dr. King. Guess who said? Guess who said we didn't need their services on April?
Let me guess. One of his homies.
The same niggas you saw in those pictures.
Okay. Let me see if I can go back to that particular picture. That
Oh,
you,
Messi.
you talking about oh, you talking about these pictures and oh, you talking
Oh,
about
look at the Jesse. The same people who talk about him to this day. Oh, Jesse. Hey, Jesse. Hey, Jesse. Hey, Jesse. Can you tell the brothers we going to need them? I heard it's going to be hot and heavy down there.
mhm. Oh yeah, this guy right
And
here.
then there was also a thing where they said, if you notice this one thing, there's a little rumor going around saying that if you notice in the picture, if they had a bigger picture of that, notice none of the guys on the balcony with him was wearing a tie
Oh,
because the snipers didn't. I guess allegedly, from what the story say, don't take it for a grain of salt. Allegedly, he didn't know who to shoot.
oh, okay. Oh, cause a nigger was a nigger as far as he was concerned.
Nigga was a nigga. You got a
Yeah,
light one, you got a dark one. Old nigga claws.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, and yeah, and RPM said something in the chat earlier saying that and this is something I heard before that Martin Luther King did not die immediately from his gunshot, but he might have been suffocated by a pillow. I mean, I heard that one too. Said he was still alive, and then when he was at that hospital, that's where he died. So I mean, it could be anything at this point, but
Could be anything.
at the end of the day, he's still dead, and it's a shame that I always ask older gentlemen why didn't black people fortify when we had the chance? We can't, we damn sure can't do it now. I mean, technology has gotten away from us. And if we, I mean, and I'm not going to say too much because I mean, what I could, what I would say could be introducing an idea that will, that they will believe that will gain traction and cause some sort of rebellion or some type of uprising if I were to say that. But back then, it was like we were so like I guess mentally fucked and we just thought that the odds were just insurmountable. We were a people who were traumatized just about every other day because someone would get killed and the murderers would get away with it because of the color of their skin. I mean, it was just the thing is like I just have some reverence for those times because those people went through a lot because I cannot imagine walking down the street and some random white man, what you looking at, nigga? Huh? I couldn't imagine it
Like,
because
what did I do to you, nigga?
shoot, like for real, like it wouldn't have been no Sophia from the Color Purple situation. Shoot,
Which is so fictional.
yeah, yeah, the Color Purple is completely fictional, and
Which is so
it's a
that
ba-
that.
it's a
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
bastardization. It's a bastardization of the history of Forsyth County. So go ahead, officer.
You really think that some black chick gonna be knocking out white dudes left and right? Old big fat mammy.
Yeah, we what happened to our history was we stopped we started taking our own actual history for granted, and we started listening to bullshit like the Color Purple. I mean, this whole attack on black male leadership is like psychological warfare, spiritual warfare, as they say. It's like we're fighting. It's like there are some of us out here that's actually fighting for the heart and soul of the black collective in the Western world, and it seems like even back then, for the men whose intentions were actually genuine, they were fighting a losing battle. And for real, it's just like think about it. Martin Luther King was as nonviolent and as non-threatening physically as you got. In fact, he worked against black people becoming a threat to the power structure. and they still put a bullet in him. They still did it. And then,
As soon as he said we gonna come home to get our check, this nigga gotta go.
yeah, he got to go. Like I said, once that Montgomery bus boycott was as successful as it was, and you learned and in protest that hurting them financially was the answer, man, they had to get rid of that shit. They had to get rid of that man pushing that you're right about the "I want that check" speech. You know what I'm saying? Like, not many people know this, but shortly before Johnny Cochran died, he was investigating how much the government actually owes black people in reparations. But you know us. We were all still mad at Johnny Cochran for getting OJ off. That poor white woman. Oh. And I'm not saying that murder is good and murder should be justified in any way, shape, or form. But I mean, still, man, it's like the group loyalty amongst blacks is ass. It is complete ass. I like what I said with the exception of a few sensible ones. Is that for the most part, and I will say an overwhelming 90 percentile. I mean, we're kind of stupid, and because of the majority, it seems to me more and more that it just seems to be more and more that we didn't deserve the activism in the first place. Actual activism, not this shit they doing today. Like, let's get some inclusivity with Disney. Inclusion, make us send up the virtue signal to make us feel good. No, these people back then were actually fighting for something. And fighting is I don't know, such a questionable choice of words because we're talking about a nonviolent approach. Like Bloody Sunday, like was one of the most like Bloody Sunday, I think actually prompted the government to go ahead and get the Civil Rights Act together because Bloody Sunday was despicable. Why are you out there beating them folks up? It's like
Well,
serious.
it's not just that. It's the fact that they after those assassinations, they burned this country fucking down.
Yeah, because
Countries, cities
because
were burning.
Kennedy was assassinated. Yeah, that was
X was Kennedy, both
yeah,
the brothers, both the Kennedy brothers, X, Dr. King. Man, they burned this motherfucker down. You won't have a
oh yeah.
country when we done with this bitch.
Oh yeah, they riot. Oh yeah, it was a bunch of riots when King was
Which,
assassinated.
which is, by the way, part of the reason why they feminized the boys.
Mm,
Shout out to BGS for his live stream tomorrow. We're gonna deal with uh part of that's a good reason why they feminized the boys because they knew them boys will overturn. Think about it. If the
mhm.
boys had some gumption right now and they see how everything, man, they have flipped this motherfucker upside down.
Yeah, yeah, but the thing that's wrong with that is we're so psychologically screwed, like you were saying earlier, that we'll turn the sword on each other first and find every reason is to justify that.
I, I need to get stuck on my shoe.
Yeah, it is no peaceful solution with many of us. We want the chaos, we want the war, we want the fight, and it's not something that I really want. Like I said about maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I want black men to get along. I want black people to get along. I do. I truly do, and I truly believe with some reinforced common sense that we could be on the path to that. But fuckery is just way too exciting for people. It, it's like it's like the ultimate drug to a lot of folks. And then when we think about times like this where black folks were actually fighting for us, that Martin Luther King, people like Martin Luther King was sticking his neck out, then is just that it's very disappointing to see that how far we've come just to end up at this point. Yes.
Uh,
And finally, he speaks.
yeah.
Yeah, he woke up from his goddamn nap. That's why.
Not really, man. You know me. I'm just trying to cook up a nice formula for a stream Tuesday afternoon. I'm hoping people
Yeah.
can check it
Chaos.
out. It's gonna
Yeah.
be a banger. I'll tell you
Yeah.
straight.
Check out Chaos Reign. Chaos
It's gonna
Reign
be a
is.
banger. It's gonna be. I ain't gonna tell you what you're gonna find, but you're going to have to watch it for yourself. But besides
Yeah.
that, to the subject at hand, that bastard. And I remember Steve Coakley played that video back almost 20 years ago when that dude was so bold on the podium and talking about the Last Supper with Dr. King. And as he prepares for Dr. King to get his brains blow out, he ducks for cover. So I'm saying, you snake, you admitted in front of the black community that you watched your friend get bullied, and you still walking. This community ain't shit. This is why you don't see no more people risking their fucking lives. That
Yeah.
right there, that was just a dagger. I can see why no black person said to fuck that shit.
Mm.
I mean, give him a good reason to even be loyal.
All Spade said, my great grandfather lost a lot of his friends during the Red Summer, barely survived himself. They took more heat here than they did in the actual war. And then Days goes on to say, here in America was worse than the war. Think about that. At least over there, you knew when you had to fight. Over here, you had no idea when or where you might have to fight for your life. Yeah, man. I went to like back in December where we all went on a trip to the Bahamas and uh me and the older guy, one of the, I consider like a father figure, even though I have my father as well. Um he was telling me like, we always share stories because like he's a true Trump hater or whatever. So I mean, say whatever on that, but he was telling me, about, how they would go. I mean, like black men would go into fight in the war, how the white boys would like try to hide behind the black men and everything and try to act like they was all friends and stuff. And they really, everybody really leaned on each other to survive, but then didn't want to have nothing to do with you when you got back over here.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
sounds familiar.
Yeah. So what all spades and days is saying is very plausible. It's extremely plausible because you have people who were around back then that not only watched that shit happen, but also experienced it. There are a couple vets in my family that said that. They used to emphasize this shit in TV shows. Like, I remember an episode of that. Don't ask me why I watched this show. I mean, probably because of Meshack Taylor, but Designing Women. Like, they had an episode where they had a military
That nigga was a
flashback.
dope. That
Say
nigga
what?
was a Delta Burke fan.
Yeah, but yeah, they emphasized that on an episode about how black soldiers came back and faced the same discrimination as if they didn't get done fighting for this motherfucker.
This is
Yeah.
why I had a talk with a small hat in Colorado, and I had to check his ass. He was like, "What you mean? Don't tell me about discrimination. When we came to save your ass, where were you when we were looking for ours?"
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We all were in it. No, you weren't.
No, not over here. It was a constant thing for like what 300-400 years. I
Matter of
mean,
fact, if you go look at the boats that were financed, then bring your ancestors here. Guess what group financed them? I'm just gonna leave that for thought.
Tiny hat.
what's that chaos ring?
Tiny hats.
Hmm.
And if you want to question it, read the thing with blacks and Jews by Nation of Islam.
Yeah, that's why they hate Farrakhan so much.
Mm.
Farrakhan doesn't bite his tongue
And mind you,
about any of that.
those who what it called historic rabbis revealed the truth when assisting in writing that book.
But here's the problem with that. Here's the problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys control the media.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have a full grip on it, like an ironclad grip on it. And is too many of us with melanated skin that sold out to that. I mean, you even had Kanye West sitting up there crying the other day, trying to apologize in Hebrew. I'm like, come on,
God
man.
damn, for real?
Yeah,
Shoot.
yeah, for real. Like they broke your boy.
They broke him, get you on your knees. Worst
Yeah,
thing a black man could do is let some man dictate your livelihood and put you back on your knees. That's like,
yeah.
get back your place, nigga.
Well, I give you another example. Nick Cannon.
Oh yeah, yeah. When he was talking about that stupid what do you call that? 5% shit.
Yeah, they got to give you a speech. Oh, we want you to be educated on our people, but will never educate themselves on you. Will never do it in a million fucking years. Yet you still have very prominent blacks selling out to the motherfuckers. Still, yeah, and because of the level of selling out in our community, especially with the Negroes that were around Dr. King, with the level of selling out, is it pretty safe to say this is why we lose?
How
Mm-hmm.
many times have you seen these guys' congregations for 40, 50 years rise? And even white politicians. I march for Dr. King.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how many people got their got their political or their pastoral card? I march for Dr. King. Oh Lord, he one of the good ones. He one of the good ones. That boy good.
One of the good ones. See that'll piss them off too.
Yeah.
Now look at this picture right here. I mean, you're right. Dr. Martin Luther King in the middle. Some people recognize Harry Belafonte to your right, but look at the imagery of this. Look at the imagery. Like when you look at the curtains behind them, it looks like a pattern of Klansmen. You know,
Uh-huh.
I'm no conspiracy theorist, but you know, I guess that's their way of saying we still watching you niggas. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So,
Lord, he started asking about money. Fuck that piece. You gotta go.
yep. We don't care if you're nonviolent. Shoot. But it saddens me that we have such opposition as far as race goes, and then we have so much opposition in our own people. It's like, and this is like one of my first lives back in 2018. I emphasize like the flaw in how parents, especially these mothers, are raising their kids right now. They're not raising them to be leaders because of a fear that something may happen to them because of them not being so far removed from those times where black men were just getting killed left and right.
I gotta disagree with you there.
Yeah, what's going on?
They're not raising them to be leaders because of that. Not raising them to be leaders because mama can never be wrong. At some point,
Yep.
mom's gonna acquiesce to the leadership of her son.
Oh, so you don't believe that that this is not any small part of that has something to do with the fact that every time a black man spoke up back in the day, he was taken out or destroyed in some kind of way.
Maybe 40 years ago, 30 years now, no, hell no.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
They,
my whole point of even making that video was like, shortly after the civil rights movement, there was this fear of net raising the next great leader. And, it's devolved in present day to, just spiting the boys, just having spite for black boys because I swear to God, this community hates black boys.
I told you, what are the three things the black community hates?
Say it with us. The hero of your own narrative.
That's
Um,
they hate black boys,
The truth.
education, and being the heroes of your own narrative. We have a bad savior complex. We really hate education. We
yeah.
really do, because if we loved education, there'd be a great demand at a lot of these strong black enclaves of better education, but they're not.
Yeah.
They hate it. They hate they hate it, and I'm like this. They don't want leaders because a lot of these bitches can't give men. They don't want to be wrong. At some point, when do black mothers listen to their sons when they become adults? Think about that shit that happened in Chicago when the boy shot the guy. At some point, why would you go and argue with that man back and forth that you don't know his temperament? Unless two things. You knew where that fucking gun was in there. Or three, you normally do that to men anytime and every time.
Mhm.
So that being said, they don't like leaders because they don't want to ever be wrong. Because if that son's raised to be a leader, there's gonna come a point when that young man's gonna check your ass.
Mhm. Mhm. Like LeBron checking his mom on the basketball court one day.
Mm,
Yeah, I mean, but I see what you're saying, Faulkner. I do, but at the same time, that's not really. I mean, that's just ego. That's not really an excuse to not want to raise a leader or somebody who can make a difference. I mean, shit. But then when they grow up and their lives become a fucking dumpster fire, then who do they want to blame?
they're gonna blame the men. Why? Because they want a figurehead. They don't really. Here. It's like I said it before. Go look at my interviews with these 19. Y'all say y'all want good men, but you had a baby by a drug dealer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and this is where, well, there's a lot of 9 to 5 guys who are bad men.
I hate that narrative. I swear to God, I hate that narrative
I said,
because
so you're making an excuse. All you're doing is making an excuse. That's because you know you don't deserve a good man. Just say, I'm one of those bitches who don't deserve a good man. I'm a horrible person. All the only thing I've evolved to do was to suck dick. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, sad
and and
but true.
and I'm like, yo, when you tell me 9 to 5 guys are hard, so that means you don't see any man that's good. Never have.
That's
Don't be with
programming.
me.
That's
Don't
programming,
be with me.
Faulkner.
I just tell them be gay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And y'all going that way anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, if you're 40 and under, it's a very high possibility the girl you probably gonna meet on the street is she's gonna be in a lesbian relationship once or twice.
Hmm. If you're lucky, she'll offer you a threesome. But hey, I don't know if that's the point that Faulkner was trying to
And
make. But
she'll just make you watch when two more of her homegirls come in. Better yet, she might even let the gay guy come in and let you watch.
Mm.
These
Yeah,
some weird chicks.
yeah, they are. Dave said a Tupac Killmonger with Infinity Gauntlet is what they want, Charles. With psychic abilities, because we have to be there to prevent them from being stupid. and
Good luck
if,
with her.
yeah, and if we're not there, it's going to be automatically our fault. I don't like the fact that they can choose a baby daddy that ain't worth a shit, and then they come to me with the conversation like something's wrong with black men. Fuck out of here. You made that
Mm-hmm.
decision.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, you decided you like that guy. And I'm not saying that you passed up a bunch of good guys to get to that one, which might be the case. But
They
I mean, but is it like at the same time, I'm not responsible for your fucking mistakes. You should have been
they
smart enough.
know. See, they know. They know that they ain't worth shit.
Yeah, they know. They don't
They
even give themselves
know.
that much of a chance. But that's not my problem. I gave
They're not a,
myself a chance.
they're not attracted to guys of a certain ilk.
Mm.
Why? Because one, that means I gotta improve. The
Mm-hmm.
fuck I need to improve for? I'm perfect.
Oh yeah, if they hook up with a man on point, he gonna make her be on point, or she can get to stepping.
See what I mean?
Mm.
If you're perfect, if he's on point,
And I gotta be on point too. Oh, fuck all that.
Oh yeah. Just go ahead and be just go ahead and be a greasy hoe bag and say it.
Greasy
Yeah,
hoe bag, I could do that.
yeah. But like, you ever notice how like a lot of the kids of the black leaders, like they're kind of a departure from what their fathers were? Like, a few years back, Malcolm X's daughter said that it was okay. She don't care if white people use the N word. And I mean, like, you're Malcolm X's daughter. What the fuck? And like the MLK's kids, I'm not like, I don't have a real good impression of them. I mean, is like cuz I'm not saying it just because of what they recently said about Jonathan Majors. It
I
just
will say
I think that King's kids are like political shields, aren't they, for the Democratic Party?
pretty much. That's all they are. That's how they make their money.
Yeah. Uh yeah, but like they like I'm gonna say this and this might make people a little mad, but Bernice was like, no, don't be comparing Coretta to your girlfriend. Uh my mother wasn't a prop. I was like,
It's a compliment. I said it's a compliment. Get over your fucking selves.
yeah, it was a compliment. Number one, it was a compliment. Number two, I mean, Coretta was kind of a prop,
Well,
maybe.
well,
You know,
that's something because you couldn't be an unmarried man doing what he did back then.
mm, I
I
mean,
mean,
but like I said, look at how beautiful Coretta is, though. She's a top beauty. She's probably one of the top beauties in the history of black people from slavery to present day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like she looked like she can get like in a lot of her pictures. She looked like she can get Cleopatra a run for her money. This
huh,
woman, this woman right here is the quintessential classic beauty.
hmm.
The quintessential classic beauty, and Martin supposedly cheated on her, supposedly. So, see, the thing is, okay, let's say all of this was true. And I know, like, I haven't seen one black woman in this chat right now,
Well, you're
Um,
not going to.
no, I mean, I usually have a couple ones that are sane minded and we know who they are, but they're just not here tonight. Um,
Uh-huh.
but it's like this. If Coretta got cheated on, I mean, don't you think that you have to be the very best companion for your man that you can be? Because like publicly, she looked like she was about perfect.
Yeah.
So and
Mhm.
and and a lot of these women out here have a mentality that is far less than what Coretta had. Far less. So I mean, just did this following an act like Coretta, yeah, it's gonna be very tough. It's gonna be very tough because I mean she's beautiful and she was humble. She didn't get out there and start loud mouthing and trying to step in front of her husband and I want to be heard. I want to say what I gotta say.
I
She didn't
feel
do
like,
all that.
or do what just do what Michelle Obama. I feel like being a single parent.
Oh shit. Yeah, man. But
They
like,
said being a single parent is a prize nowadays, bro.
yeah, but Coretta was incomparable. Like she really was, man. And I mean, like I realized the other one, Cotton, she was kind of cute because it was like look at her. She wasn't an ugly chick. I mean, but let me see if I can turn. Yeah, this is her right here. This is a body shot. This is a full body shot of hers. I mean,
But the one with with the short hair?
yeah, with the short hair. This was supposedly Martin Luther King's side chick, Dorothy Cotton. She had a very high position in like the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. She worked at the she worked side by side with Dr. King, and they said that their relationship was a little bit more than what they did as far as the civil rights movement. So that's the rumor out there. Like, they're saying a lot of the information was withheld because, she didn't really want it all of it revealed till she died. And
Yeah.
that's kind of suspect within itself because she's not here. They
It's
say
kind
she
of
confirmed it.
suspect.
What? Go ahead.
It's kind of suspect because why would you want it out?
Because
Why,
the further and further you get away from that time period, you can start introducing more and more bullshit so you can retcon history. They're waiting for pretty that's a theory of mine as to why they haven't paid reparations yet. They're still trying to get enough of the generations to die so people won't care anymore.
Yeah.
Because you already got this nigga mentality. Oh, well, just man, I don't like to think about the past, man. I ain't trying to let it hold me back and nothing like that. You ain't gotta let it hold you back. I mean, shit, but the acknowledgement of the history and not forgetting where we came from and where we were in all of the atrocities that were committed against blacks ever since the inception of this country. I think that should be remembered forever and ever.
and one of the things about reparations is that it's not only you give somebody their freedoms, but you put them on economic levity with everybody else.
Yeah, because I'm say this, when Obama was running, he got the reparations question. Obama said that is something that would be impossible to do. Bernie Sanders, same answer. I would expect it more from Bernie than Obama, but of course,
Because
Obama is.
Bernie marched with Dr. King.
Yeah, that's like they had like I used to be a Bernie Sanders guy. I was seriously a Bernie guy because I believed healthcare should be free. I believe
I
education
never
should.
was a Bernie guy because he looked like a he looked like a slumlord landlord. like fucked up. Well, that's that
Man,
leak in the ceiling. That's part of the charm.
yeah, yeah. But then when he ran his campaign on provisions that other countries were already giving their citizens, the Hillary Clinton threw up. Oh, you just want to give away free stuff, free stuff. I mean, they called it free stuff, and it's like we're the richest country. And Bernie Sanders' point was, we're the richest country on the fucking planet. Like we're the rich. Why can't we do this? It's like shit. Other countries ain't working with nearly what we got, and they're giving away free healthcare. What's wrong? Why we can't like that's the one thing I did like about Bernie. Bernie did blow the lid off of quite a few things. Like you got Democratic Senator Cory Booker voting against bringing pharmaceuticals from Canada, and said that and was like and said that the reason why he voted against it was because some of the medications contained angry hornet venom. I do remember that. But
And what?
yeah, yeah, that Cory Booker, yeah, Mr. Virtue Signal himself, Mr. Kamala Harris reminds me of my mom. No, he said that about Ketanji Brown Jackson. She reminds me of my mom, like because you're mixed.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, yeah, that Cory
You,
Booker,
you ever
man.
you ever notice they get the most non-threatening Negroes, the most non-masculine Negroes they can find to put in these offices, man.
Oh yeah. Believe me. And Cory Booker is somebody that if he was on the ballot anywhere I was voting at, I probably wouldn't vote for him. I probably would like do what I did, during the last presidential election. And that kind of irked me because people were at the booths and people were actually looking at who you were voting for. It's like, the guy that was watching the voting machine when I put my vote in it was like a little scantron. I put my vote in the machine and tallied it up. Shit. I wrote in Bernie Sanders' name for president. And since he wanted to be nosy and look, I put the paper in his face. I said, "You happy now? You want to know exactly why I'm voting for this guy?" Yeah, I can tell you. You can. I mean, the only thing you're gonna tell me the reason why you voted for Joe Biden is racist. Like, good God, man! It's like, okay, if they are racist, then why don't you find a politician whose policies that you like and vote for that guy? It's like last government election. You had Kemp, you had Abrams, and you had this other guy. I voted for the other guy. You know why I voted for the other guy? Because he wanted to legalize marijuana in the state of Georgia. That's why. I said, hell, since I'm indifferent to politics, let me see who can I vote for that shares my interest. And that's
You thought you were gonna get a shared interest from Stacey Abrams?
nah. Stacey Abrams wanted to make Georgia to a sanctuary state for illegals. Like she was one of those, we should be helping out our brothers and sisters. But don't want to talk about what you want to do for black folks. I say, okay, that's why you're
Don't
not
want
gonna
to talk about what she want to do for black men.
no, she attacked black men. She was like, she wouldn't want everyone for black men. I'm like, you're a goddamn lie. Shoot, you
I wanna,
got. That man
I
said
want
bad.
to do I want to do anything for black men because black men shunned me. The only time black men wanted to pay me attention was to get me to play defensive end or defensive tackle on the football field.
Her and
Even though I
Simone
was good
Sanders.
at, even though I was good at it, and it got me through scholarship all the way up to law school.
Man, let me see if I can find that meme. They had this football player, but then they had this football player, but dude looked like Stacey Abrams. I know
What you may
somebody.
look like.
I I know somebody seen that meme besides me. I mean, dude looked just like Stacey Abrams. I was like, nah, the internet is undefeated. But yeah, these like I mean, I get it with like a lot of the political talk. We trying to get some people that will, that will line up with our interests, and these are conversations that need to be had. But I don't know. I guess I just have to get past my political indifference because I don't feel like we're gonna get anything from any of these motherfuckers. Like nothing. It's just the situation is gonna remain the same for as long as we all live.
Yeah,
And
and
and and and for me, that's pretty pointless to stress over something like that. To stress over an election. I mean, shit. And then I would try to just goofy people that I would talk to about politics at times. I'm like, how does it feel any different with any president that has been in office besides consumerism prices going up? Like it's like if Trump was in office with groceries being as high as they are at this time, they would have been blamed Trump. I haven't heard one of these people blame Biden yet. Unless you're me. I'm cussing Biden out every time I go to the grocery store.
well, Biden. Jesus gave us Biden because he hooked up with Obama, and anything that's with Obama connected to Obama is a coward.
I trust Obama. Oh yeah. Here's the other one. Ah, Biden apologized for everything he did. It takes a real man to apologize. And I'm like, why do these old ass white men always apologizing toward the end of their lives? When they're young and spry, they fuck up every fucking thing. I was like, I don't accept that. I don't accept that at all. He like y'all mad at Trump, but this man talking about some he don't want his kids to go to school with black kids. I mean, shit. Who would want to go to school with Hunter Biden anyway? I mean, is beyond me. But nobody took that into consideration because their boogeyman became Donald Trump, a person that before he ran for president, everybody liked Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody did. Even when he insulted Rosie O'Donnell, everybody still liked Donald Trump. But then when he ran on the Republican ticket, racist. Now we just got through establishing, like, when people fought against racism, guess what you did with their contribution? You shit it all over it. and you decided to conform to some crap. So I don't want to hear it. There were so many people out there working for y'all, and y'all became the ingrates. You did. So what did your state do? Now I'm not trying to slight or dig at any other states, but some of y'all from other states got some horrible attitudes about people from Alabama. And what?
Alabama knows
Yeah,
how to party.
yeah, we sure do. And I mean, like we have some very problematic areas too. I mean, shit. I wouldn't recommend like I'm from Montgomery, Alabama, but I wouldn't recommend anybody move there. I wouldn't, man, especially to the west side and the black neighborhoods, man. Them
Yeah,
kids
it's not that part of that state, man. So no, no, no.
like they shooting each other, robbing old people at
Damn,
gunpoint. Like
old
they
nigga.
they are yeah. They got that old nigga mentality, the old nigga. Because I be trying to get my dad to calm down. Like my dad be going.
Oh shit.
My dad my dad be going out there yelling at motherfuckers playing music too loud in front of their house. I'm like, these kids ain't got no damn sense, Dad. You need to sit
They
down.
got no filter. You want to go get your ass shot? These niggas said they gonna look at you, old nigga. They gonna say, "Shut up, old nigga."
I don't care about no Martin Luther King. Oh, like, good God. Like, for real? I'm like, that's why, like, all these old so-called hardcore gangsters, man, put them back in them times of Jim Crow. I was like, man, I'll send all of them back to the time of Jim Crow. See if they so brave and bold then. You know, when somebody calling you a nigger, you can't say nothing about it,
Mm-hmm.
man. Like,
Nigga.
Every time somebody call you a nigga, as soon as you want to retaliate, you got the Georgia Jungle song in your back of your head. Watch out for that tree.
yeah, yeah.
Or the guy with a tape go kaboom.
I'm talking about all these old fantastic ass so-called wannabe hard ass gangster thugs. Take all of them, stick all their asses in a time machine, and send them back to the year 1930. Send them back to. I mean, if they were smart, they were fortified. But I mean, I seriously doubt that. I mean, these usually young men that are full of fear and find their manhood in a firearm, which ain't really manhood, it's pseudo manhood. And then we end up in prison for the rest of their lives. Now, Duke's got something to add to that little argument BGS had about effeminizing the black boys.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the prison industrial complex, if it's truly that, what does the prison industrial complex need to be the prison industrial complex?
Well, B just said that it is all about power. That's why they lock people up. It's not.
Yeah, I mean that, but if you create a generation of effeminized boys who swing toward that alphabet direction, and
Mhm.
the main thing about dudes that don't want to go to jail is the fact that they don't want their buttholes violated. If you got a bunch of
Yeah.
kids that don't mind that have these violent attitudes, they won't be afraid to go to jail at all. You will fill your prison with the number one resource that is needed to function in anything, and the number one resource is human beings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so and I mean, like, and I know Faulkner is he's law enforcement and everything, but Faulkner does not encapsulate the corruption part of it. You know, he wasn't in this rumored meeting that day with the top record execs and some rap producers conspiring to make media that influences young men to commit crimes so they can fill their prisons up so these businesses can get all their products made for way cheaper than having to actual pay an employee and give them the benefits and treat them like actual human beings. You just but the people in this country disregard prisoners because they treat prisoners like throwaways. Like there's barely any programs to rehab prisoners. So when they do go back in society, they can find jobs and not think about being a criminal because a lot of that criminality and Faulkner, I mean, a lot of criminality comes from the fact that you have a bunch of have-nots, not some people who are maliciously criminals. There are just some people that are trying to survive out here. And
3 causes of crime:
yeah, but I mean,
lack of resources,
yeah,
proximity, and idle time.
yep, yep. So I mean, the power structure you chose instead of the power structure you could have possibly had is one of the primary reasons why I believe that people in the present day are deserving of everything that we get. And the one thing that we don't deserve is potent activism like Dr. King presented. We don't deserve it, period. We don't deserve people to fight for us. We need to learn to fight for ourselves. Since we're going to be ingrate bitches and ingrate bastards, shit, let's start fighting for ourselves. Otherwise, shut the fuck up and then let people who actually care do the damn thing. Because not many of us care anymore. You know, not many. Like we want the image, but we're not willing to fight to maintain that image. We only want the image to show other groups of people.
Yeah.
You know,
We ain't that bad.
huh?
We ain't that bad. Let's show them. Let's show them our hip hop shit.
Yeah, and like a lot of the reason why people get mad at this space, I mean, is not like it is what we're saying, but many people are getting upset because they're afraid other groups are watching. Like they'll be embarrassed that this uncouth behavior is displayed in front of other groups of people. But when it's just us, all the uncouth behavior ensues and it does a bunch of damage anyway. Like, so my thing is though, whenever I hear someone say something like, man, we gotta watch how we act and everything, because white people might be watching, and how do they expect how do they expect, like, how do we expect respect from them if we can't respect ourselves? Like, what you have done when you do that is that you empowered the very people that's been doing all this bullshit to you for decades and centuries.
Yep.
So basically you're a coward.
Yeah.
You're a coward.
You're someone's
You,
bitch.
yeah, yeah. You would not rather you would rather not display common sense on a consistent basis, because when you're around our people, because you believe our people ain't good enough. But when that white man come around, is staying at attention, dog and pony show, and if the man pulls his pants down, have your lips puckered up, ready to kiss his ass. So this is like I said, this amongst many reasons is why I believe that black people no longer deserve any more activism from any black man. What do you think that Dr. Martin Luther King would say about the color purple? What do you
This
think is it?
track one piece of shit.
Is this all the ass whoopings I took for you to talk about the black man like this?
You gotta watch that phone
I
back.
dream, and this is not the dream I signed for you
This is,
niggas.
you know what though? We need to stop using dream, because that speech wasn't even entitled "I Have a Dream." "I Have a
Mm-hmm.
Dream" was a very small part of that speech.
Mm-hmm.
All the only two parts that the media consistently showed about that speech was, oh, we want our kids to walk in a country where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. And the last line, free at last, free at last, the free at last line. Those are the only two parts of that speech that they show. They don't tell you the rest of it.
They don't even tell you the one when he said we're going to Washington get our check.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
they don't want to pay niggas. That's for sure. It's, oh, we mean get your check.
yeah, they tried to bear it. They didn't think, no, like they weren't anticipating the dawn of the internet. they couldn't have back then. because they didn't believe that, and I really can't stand when a black person say something like, "Oh, well, they should have never gave you niggas the internet," or "I hate the internet," or you don't believe everything, which is a common sense statement. You're not supposed to believe everything that something puts out. I mean, shit. I mean, but they hate the internet because pretty much mainstream media and TV controls the narratives. So if they don't show you, you don't know. Now you got the internet, which shows you just about everything, if not everything, if you know how to look for what you're looking for. I mean, if you know how to look, if you know how to search something and find it, that internet, that Google, that Bing, whatever search engine you're using, you can find anything you want. You can find anything you want from recipes to information that was buried a long time ago. And because of the internet, I was able to hear that speech talking about, well, we want our check. Shoot, Martin Luther King, and he realized his mistake. He realized what his mistakes were. I integrated our people into a burning building or a burning house. He fought for the wrong cause. He should not have fought for peace and integration. He should have fought he should have railed against the violence that was happening to his people. You know, he understood toward the end that he had been doing the wrong thing all along. And, it was one of those better late than never situations. But then he got assassinated.
Boom. Oh, this nigga think he gonna get his check. We got your check right here.
Yeah.
They gave him a nice little what they call long round of a 12 gauge or a sniper.
It's not gonna be a 12 gauge. Won't reach far enough.
No, I mean a sniper, a special sniper. I don't know what they call it. There's many weapons, like
could be a 308, depending on the round. But I mean, here's the craziness of it all. When you really figure about it, we don't appreciate our heroes very much.
Nope.
We kind of anti-hero. If it ain't a black woman being boisterous, we don't care for it. We just don't care for it. I'm the mammy. You come over here and you listen to me, mammy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking to myself, like, God damn.
Man, let me tell you something about these family dynamics. Just from what other people have told me, it's not all roses, and it usually comes from a dynamic where the females are the senior players. The men will still go out and work and bust his ass just to make sure that there's food on the table and the bills are paid. But what does this nigga do when he comes home? He hands everything to his wife, his battle axe wife, who is the authority. Who is the authority? So, yeah. So, like, I don't completely blame moms. I kind of complain. I kind of blame like some of the senior males in this family too, because they kind of handed over whatever power they had. And then, the repayment for all of that is ingrates, ingrate nation, and ingrate community.
Say what I say all the time. When I say weak ass, you say bitch.
Weak ass bitch. Yeah.
And that's how I look at them. And it's sad because I remember my father told my stepmother when he finally, at 60 years old, he's 66, about to be 67. And he finally bought his home, so it's never too late, black men, to buy your home. And she was like, well, we didn't agree on it. And he said, you know what, I do you one better. You could stay your ass right here. And I'm going to go.
So what'd she do after that?
Shut her goddamn mouth and go.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what a lot of you niggas of. A lot of niggas, let's be truthful.
Happy wife, happy life.
Mm-hmm. Let's be truthful to a lot of these niggas.
Mm.
A lot of y'all niggas scared to confront your goddamn wives.
Mm.
A lot of niggas are scared,
Mm.
and they would really, they really would be afraid for a nigga to be like, you know what, fuck all this shit.
Mm.
Why would you say fuck all this shit? Why would you say fuck me and leave me and go? Nah, fuck you.
Black men have some self respect and a fucking spine. That's all I would say.
Yeah, go.
Yeah. But yeah, we are at the 3 hour mark.
Okay.
So we've shown our support from Dr. King, for Dr. Martin Luther King. It would have been nothing wrong with people hitting that link and pushing back and saying what they had to say about Dr. King. If it's in a negative light, I'm not the kind of content creator that would just bite your head off. And there are some content creators that are out there that are like that will bite your head off over a difference of opinion. But hey, I consider myself to be extremely approachable. So, I mean, and also, I give the respect and the reverence to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. for his activism and his sacrifice. The man,
Mm.
what the man wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but he did a lot more shit than I did for our people. So, I mean, I can respect that. So, last words, fellas.
Protect our heroes at all costs, because nobody else will.
At all.
And stop being afraid to be. Stop being afraid to be the outlier.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Stop being afraid. Sometimes you got to do what needs to be done.
Mm.
I don't think there's no more braver of a man to know that he may not make it out alive, but to help other people. That's actually very honorable.
Yeah.
And we need to stop that.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also give these men these flowers while they're still alive.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
don't allow people to destroy their imagery.
Mm.
Don't allow that shit. White people don't let you destroy the South.
Not at all.
Oh, okay.
Not at all.
So let's be very honorable towards these men and
Mm.
women. Some of the women were out there, but especially to the men, because we never get our just due.
No. Well, yeah, we know the feeling. And although we should be used to that kind of thing, still sucks.
Like a motherfucker.
Yeah. So, all right. So,
All
Chaos
right,
Reign.
man. Always a pleasure. Woo!
All right, Sergeant Faulkner, and go check his YouTube channel out at Charles Faulkner Jr. Does some very interesting content. So show your support, help his algorithm out so more eyes can get on him as well. And get put some in the pot, super chat, cash out, whatever. I mean, a lot of us content creators, we spend a lot of time doing this. And I'm not saying that we're entitled to a little something, but support it will help us continue to do this continuously. So I mean,
Support
it's
goes a long way.
yeah. So support Black Man Media. So Chaos Rain, you got anything to say?
Nothing much. Usually they call it Happy Integration Day. They would call it, on the same birthday.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Like I said, it's a Chaos Rain show. Tune in. I guess either 2 or 3 p.m. Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Today. 'Cause I think it's not tomorrow. Today, 'cause we're in Tuesday already. You're gonna like this smoke session. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Oh,
Oh yeah. Go check out Chaos Rain's channel as well too.
yeah.
He's still continuing to grow over there.
Yeah.
So yeah. My last words is this. And I'm gonna keep it very, very short. my last words is where people like Dr. Martin Luther King wouldn't say it, I most certainly will. I said, some of you niggas need to sit your asses down. For real, for real. And I guess that'll be it for me. So it's getting pretty late. For those of you who watch this, for those of you who watched this and stayed the course with me, I really do appreciate you guys. I appreciate the membership, the live chat, the moderators, and especially the replay gang. Like I said, do me a favor, comment replay gang if you're watching this, on your own time and on your own accord, because it's like, that's making time on your own to watch this means a whole lot. So, okay, that's it. Another MLK day in the books. And in order to know where we're going, we got to understand where we came from. So, that's it for now. So thank you by all means of tuning in today. Uh oh yeah, and be here for Reaction Wednesday. Yep, I've decided what content creator I'm gonna react to. But I'm gonna search for a couple more things to react to and just to have a full show. So um hopefully I'll see you guys on Wednesday night. So uh for those of you happy MLK Day, if you don't like MLK, then hey, this might not have been the broadcast for you. So that's it. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to the good officer and Chaos Rain for coming to the panel. Dark Lake Revived. My apologies for not dropping the link earlier, but I did see your request for the link. So so yeah, we all do what we can. And oh yeah, thanks for the Afro National, thank you for the super chat. So really appreciate that kind of love that you guys show me. And that's it. Long live the habitual line steppers. In Kev we trust. When you don't give up, you shall definitely win. Keep the dream alive, people. And I'll see you next time. Peace. Oh yeah, one more thing. Toya the tutor is broadcasting right now, so go show her some support when y'all leave here. So, okay. All right. Peace.